Here we are, folks, in the first semifinal in Warlords 3. And what a story it has been for both of these players. Sebastian, a player who's had a crazy couple months. Many people might remember him as being out for the Opaka in Hidden Cup. He did lose first rounds, and while being in the top 16 was a big achievement for him, you think that maybe he would kind of taper off from there. Maybe that was his peak, but no. He's only gotten better. He's looked incredible in this tournament. Beating Mr. Yo 4-3 after being 3-1 down, which takes crazy fight. And then yesterday beating Winchester 4-2. He's up against Viper here. This is the second time that these players have ever played each other in a tourney, which is really rare in competitive Age of Empires. And Sebastian's young. He's 22 years old. I think he's got nothing to lose. And from talking to him, from hearing interviews from him publicly, he's got a good mindset. And I said after the first game against Yo in the round of 16, he felt like a top 5 player. And here he is confirmed to be top 5, at least in this event, right? He's gone for the Armenians. He's forward docking right now here on Northern Isles. And he's up against the Viper, who has not lost a game yet this tournament. And, you know, Viper has won pretty much every tournament ever. Any type of tournament, that is, right? And it was a given for so many years that he would just kind of win everything, right? Wrist injury, age, all these things that come for us happened. And then he wasn't winning everything because you also had a player in the other semifinal, Hera, who kind of took that mantle, at least for the last year or so. And honestly, the performance we saw from Viper against Doubt made me believe it's honestly the best version of Viper I've seen in 2 years. Truthfully. 2 years doesn't seem like a long time, but it really has felt a long time since I've seen Viper dominate to that level. Now, the question will be, is that just the confidence level Viper had against Doubt? I don't know. But it did feel like the best version of the Viper I've seen in quite a long time yesterday. So, shaping up here to be a really big conclusion to Warlords 3. We'll see if Viper will lose the game today. My prediction is he will win this series, but Sebastian is going to really make him fight. So, Armenians, most people consider this civilization to be the #1 civilization when water is incorporated. And both of these players actually drafted Armenians for their in their draft. It's just that Viper is clearly planning on playing the Armenians on another map. You start with the transport ship here. Sebastian saw the back dock from Viper, so knows that his fishing ships will be safe. Viper scouted the front dock from Sebastian, so is probably expecting some aggression. And Sebastian just sailing off here with his scout in the transport. There's no villagers there, but I'm expecting a galley opening from him. The reason Armenians are #1, in my opinion, well, there's quite a few reasons. They flow together, but their mule carts have a 40% more efficient upgrades, and mule carts upgrade your gold mining and also your wood. So it's like, if you're on water, you just have more wood and gold income, which is, of course, going to lead to the ship domination. That combined with having a really good navy. It's not like this civilization doesn't have one of the best navies in the game. You also can drop the fortified churches later, get 1 free relic. 1 free relic is really helpful in long-term on water maps. So this seems to be a build where Viper is going to go for water as well. He did actually wall in this vill. Sebastian may be trying to snipe the dock villager. Pretty on-point stuff there from Viper. And Viper only able to queue up 1 galley initially. And oh my god, did you just see what happened there? That was hilarious. Viper actually walled in Sebastian's scout there for a moment. Sebastian tried to come here. Viper left. Viper dropped the palisade. Viper saves the vill. Viper does have loom now. And we saw Sebastian try and steal some pigs in multiple games. And this is what the meta has become now. Sebastian's going to try it against the Viper here, and Viper just eats the pigs, actually, which is actually really smart. And the scout for Sebastian is weak, so Viper doing a better job there than Winchester was able to do. And meanwhile, Viper kills the villager with the scout, loses his scout, but a lot has happened here, man. I mean, we're expecting the Navy to make most of the difference here, but nice job there from Viper to kill the vill. But, I mean, he also doesn't have a scout now. And it is much more likely that Sebastian will sneak villagers now over to Viper's Island with the transport. now that Viper doesn't have a scout to see what's happening. It's crazy how competitive this game has looked when we've just been talking about the scouts so far. Both players trying to gain any advantage they can. Okay, let's pretend for a moment, guys, that you're 22 years old, you're Sebastian, who's had this crazy run. You're playing against Viper for the second time ever in a tournament. What's your mindset? Let's, again, pretend you has performed as well as he has. What's your mindset? Are you confident? Are you scared? Do you feel like you have nothing to lose? Does that help or does that hurt you? There's definitely going to be an extra level of tourney nerves, I would say, even though he quote-unquote has nothing to lose. I think the nerves are going to be there. Now, Viper, he didn't scout that it was 3 docks for Sebastian. So I don't think he was expecting this level of investment from Sebastian. And what I like about him is he just goes for it, man. 3 docks, also going for fletching now. Or sorry, already has fletching, and he really surprises Viper with the amount of ships that he has. Forced to run away here, Viper. And Viper going for the more economic approach, trying to click up to the next stage here. But his fishing ships have to flee. But he's now making a move to kill Sebastian's fish. Now, this would be typical Viper, right? It's like undercut an army to try and get to the next stage, and then find value from low numbers of units, and that's precisely what happens here. Viper could probably kill most of these fishing ships, which makes it worth it to lose his own in his mind. Viper uses the market a bit. Viper's on the way to Castle Age, and yeah, Viper's going to kill all of these. Unless he doesn't want to psycho-fast the galleys, but I think he's going to lose the galleys anyways. And his fish, looks like 2 of them went down, but these 2 are actually just chilling there. And it's possible Viper will be able to get home. He didn't really micro them that well, but Sebastian was chasing the galleys, so Viper's on the way up, and Viper wants to quickly build a dock on the front. If he completes this dock, he can send fire galleys in towards Sebastian. And oh man, if Sebastian saw that, that would be huge. Viper knew that it was extremely important for him to get this dock up fast. And Sebastian should know that Viper's up at this point. Viper hasn't created as much navy. Viper's built a forward dock. These things normally mean Castle Age. So, guys, when you win water at this stage of the game, you're really doing it to be able to fish. But having leftover galleys can be great long term. Viper's not going to be able to find the easiest of engagements. He is going to just try and chip away at his opponent. We might actually see a turtle from Viper. Viper, he didn't go for a fire galley here. And I really like the idea of going turtle, because turtle you don't need to get the war galley upgrade for. Viper might just opt for economic upgrades and just to add TCs. So maybe just 1 or 2 turtle ships here from Viper. Still has his galleys around, of course. There's still no fishing ships for Sebastian. Sebastian chasing down Viper's galleys, and Viper's making a turtle! Let's go, baby! Man, guys, if there was ever an opportunity for Sebastian to land Viper, it would be this. Viper has no scout. He can see everything Viper has. Maybe a landing over here. Try and pressure the Viper. Viper does lose 1 of his remaining fishing ships. Viper kills the scout with the turtle. And I think Viper is just going to use his speedy micro on the slowest possible unit here. He's going to make like 1 or 2 turtles. I do not expect much more investment. Turtles should actually do pretty well against galleys, but, I mean, 15 galleys. Simply too strong there for Sebastian. His army value, 2,200. So, 2,200 resources invested into the ships that he has. There's no way that he's going to struggle all that much against these turtles as long as he's patient. I'm surprised Viper's making a second one, but I do think in this timing, he should be trying to do something before Sebastian is up. You can see what these galleys can do, right? Viper hasn't reacted to this just yet, but Viper did lose a Vil there. But, I mean, Korean Navy long-term is incredibly strong, and I think eventually Viper's going to want to get back onto the water. A way that the Koreans would do that is to build towers or castles on the shoreline and then build more docks later. This is hilarious. Watching Viper put all of his attention on 2 turtles. Sebastian seems really interested in the back docks from Viper, where Viper's not really doing anything. And Sebastian drops TC number 2. Look at the resources collected, considering Sebastian didn't have fish, guys. This is what I talked about before with the Armenians. So, it really is, at least in terms of that, the best civilization on water right now. You combine that with Cilician Fleet, which is such a helpful, unique technology later on with the demos and the galleys. And, yeah, most people will think it's number 1. Which is surprising to me. This is the most water-dominant map we have. And Viper didn't pick Armenians for this map. He's saving it for something else. They do have some unique land bonuses that I think Viper would try and utilize. Like, I could see Viper going for a Dark Age spear play, honestly, and making it messy. But, yeah, it just really isn't clear to me where Viper will play Armenians. That's something we have to think about. And Sebastian has chosen to just stay away from these turtles for now, which I think is pretty good for Viper. Viper's going to even out the res collected, though, because he's been on 3 TCs for a long time. He's had 56 vills, and it's 43 for Sebastian. So it is expected that the resources collected should get closer. And I think Viper's timed his farming eco perfectly here. And I just wonder, will Sebastian be able to hold from the inevitable early Imperial Age play from Viper? Like, Sebastian loves that aggression, but there hasn't been an amount of aggression that really looks like it's troubled the Viper, right? It almost looks like Viper was happy to accept how this game was going to go. And these turtles are going to finally go down. I think the turtles found pretty good value. They dealt quite a bit of damage against the docks. They did weaken a lot of these galleys if they did not kill them. Someone will have to do the math on how much those turtles cost, but I think the control it gave Viper was pretty good. Sebastian just still 2 town centers, no 3rd town center. And it doesn't seem like he's planning on a 3rd TC at this point. I think he may actually just hope for a faster imp. It definitely needs to be taking down the docks. If Viper doesn't have docks, it's going to just slow down his push back to water. But I think, again, Viper is most likely expecting this dock to go down and will eventually prep a castle. I would actually prefer a castle here, just because it protects this gold. But a castle on the shoreline, more docks for Viper expected at some point here. So, still waiting for Sebastian's food eco to really rise here, right? Because if it's going to be the faster imp, yeah, he's going to stone now too. Yeah, this is definitely some type of faster imp. At least that's what he's hoping for. Usually, as Viper's going to drop some towers here, usually I'd say that that's achievable with 2 town centers versus 3. But Viper's food eco is really good. I think Viper might naturally have a very similar imp time here, depending on if he wants to use the market or not. Now, this is weird to me. Viper's going for fletching. I know it feels like a tough situation, you know, from a viewer standpoint, but I actually feel like Viper just could have just still built a castle and achieved so much more. Like, these 2 towers, they don't actually directly benefit him right now. I don't think the galleys were a problem from Sebastian yet. I mean, fletching's not that big a deal. It's only 150 resources, but still, when Imperial Age is so important. It's worth noting that Viper kind of delays his castle and delays his Imperial Age a little bit with that choice. And so what I'm thinking now for Sebastian, normally the faster imps are on the back of trebs. So, and forward castles. If he had the stone to maybe drop a castle on Viper's Island, maybe drop a castle in the middle, it could be really good for him, but we're still waiting to see, will Viper drop an important castle? Where will he drop it? And will he redock here? And there's our answer. I agree that Sebastian could maybe add a couple fishing ships, but honestly, at this stage, like, fishing ships are really valuable when you can't make more town centers. I think, like, the longer the game goes, the more vulnerable fishing ships are going to be as well. I like the idea of just focusing on farms if you're Sebastian. Still having the galleys to control the map is really important here. And here we go, guys. Viper dropping those docks. And Viper getting the upgrades we're all expecting here. Again, Castle makes it possible. Sebastian will just see this dock from Viper. And Koreans are really hard to stop. And let's not forget, they do also have cheap ships as well. So it's not like the Koreans don't have a competitive navy here, despite all the bonuses the Armenians have. And you're not going to want to be around these towers either if you're Sebastian. Sebastian chooses to stick around to kill some monks, but Viper will make it to Imp 40 seconds behind Sebastian. Now, there is a topic which is fairly, I would say, controversial, balance-wise, when it comes to the Armenians. And it is the fact, or not, sorry, not just the Armenians, but just Drummond specifically. It's the fact that some civilizations get the Drummond, which many people feel is better than a cannon galleon. I would agree. But that it's not, that Dromons is not unlockable by chemistry. The reason I bring that up is because for every other civilization that can't make Dromons, they have to wait for chemistry to complete before they can make their cannon galleon. So what this gives is an insane window where you can make a ship that destroys buildings quickly that other civs don't really have. And Sebastian immediately queuing up the Dromons was a really good move, in my opinion, for the reasons I just mentioned. Viper actually goes as far as to research shipwright. And he has 3 war galleys right now. Like, Viper is being as greedy as can be, just thinking that as long as he doesn't kill me right now, I will push back. But there's 29 war galleys for Sebastian about to be galleons. Like, Viper is going to lose these docks so quickly. This is not going to be easy for him at all right now. And it will take some time for the Dromons to take down the towers, but still should be relatively quick. The Viper is going to... Ooh, he's going to transport some war wagons here. He's also getting Yupseong here, which will add some extra range to his towers. Dromons 12 range. The towers will actually hold against Dromons, I think. I didn't think about this. I think they will actually range the drum. Wow! Wow, that's sick. You know, I just kind of saw the Dromons and figured the Dromons are going to destroy everything. They'll still destroy the towers pretty quickly if you get a bunch of them, but that allows Viper to hold as he's massing his ships up here. And he's about to come in with wagons, and look at Sebastian. Sebastian might not realize that this is just a transport from Viper, but he might be paranoid. And think about it, right? Consider the stakes. Consider everything that's happening. You're up against Viper. Sometimes you assume that your opponent is always doing the worst possible thing for you. So he might be scared there's villagers there. I like that transport from Viper because it gives him time. I like the tower upgrade because it gave him time. And all of a sudden, Viper up to 24 galleons is looking pretty good for Viper, considering how good his resources are and the fact he got shipwright. Honestly, I think that one of the main things that might be what swings this game is just, like, how good are the Dromons and how good is Cilician fleet here. Like, I saw a game with the Armenians where they were behind by 30 or so villagers on islands. It was actually a player playing against Hera, and Hera was Dravidians. And the Armenian navy, despite everything else, was just so strong that it just continued to take really good engagements. So Viper will not want to give his opponent good engagements. And he's going to path away, click away, and he's actually looped some navy around this way. So still in, like, choosing to just try and avoid this death ball. But Sebastian's got to send some pressure to him. I like the tread from the shoreline. Sebastian, you can tell, is distracted right now. He runs into the castle there from Viper. Viper will be happy with that. I think Sebastian has just placed this castle because he wants to protect his shoreline from this navy that's coming in. And also, Viper has shown up with some vills to drop a siege workshop and a tower here. So there's a lot of reasons for Sebastian to be distracted right now. Viper also going for elite cannon galleon now. All this stuff is so expensive. Whoever wins today is not going to win easily, man. Sebastian has already put up such a crazy fight. Look at how many dromons he has. Viper will try and focus these down. He doesn't end up killing any because of Sebastian's micro. Nice play from Sebastian there. Sebastian is punishing Viper for the fact that Viper has chosen to raid with so many galleons right now. Viper, he could have more navy here, but he chose to move out elsewhere. He does have his cannon galleons behind this. They don't have the splash damage. They don't have the firing speed of the Drummonds, though. Drummonds are just superior when compared to the cannon galleon. Viper, though, dropping more towers. Viper also has bombard cannons here, and Viper is looping this other navy back home in a panic right now. Viper loses his castle. He is really badly pop-capped, which he has to fix. Viper needs to start winning on water as Sebastian really distracted on land. Look at this. That Treb from Sebastian. Perfect play right up against towers. But Viper has a bombard cannon prepared. No way. Sebastian has clicked it. And Sebastian kills the cannon. Dude. And guys, like, when you're in Viper's position, you don't really have a ton of wood to be able to make new docks all the time. It's not easy. So, I mean, these Dromons here, 13,000 damage dealt already. There's such a key part here for Sebastian because they can take out the buildings. But Viper's got all of his galleon mass here now. And he's actually engaging in the battle. Engaging in the fight. He's got another bombard cannon. He took out the Treb there. Sebastian focused on the water. And Viper still has these. Oh, man. If Viper could sit on the wood line here, Sebastian could have some big problems. Because Sebastian can't take all of his wood lines right now, guys. That's a big thing that Viper's tower pressure does here, long term, is just Sebastian can't take resources. He can't take the gold. He can't take the wood. Now he can't take the wood here. And now Viper is in a good spot here. It's crazy, right? All the little side shenanigans Viper was able to do. All the defense with the towers and the castles. Against so much pressure from Sebastian, but all of a sudden you look at it. And Sebastian is building castles to keep wood lines safe. Sebastian still can't stop these towers and bombard cannons. Viper's got archer ranges up. And it just feels like that classic Viper of chipping away at your opponent and then having a massive lead in the later stages. And here we are. Such a good fight from Sebastian. I mean, he took out the castles and the towers. But now it feels like Viper has him exactly where he wants them. The key for Viper now, obviously he needs to keep it up on the sides, but he just needs to push the middle with the cannon galleons. The level of patience that Viper was able to show here was just perfect. And Sebastian will clear this up. Sebastian actually going for stable upgrades. Sebastian probably feels like he needs something on land right now. And naturally, you know, you start to think that, and then suddenly you start to fall behind on water, right? Crazy stuff, man. We got to see the Armenian bonuses in play. Not all of them. We didn't see heavy demo, for example. But we've really seen the Korean bonuses in play here. Viper loses his bombard cannons. But he is transporting and building towers in the middle now. Viper is losing his cannon galleons to the castle from Sebastian. Sebastian still has 2 castles here. That's maybe his way to stay alive in this game. I think it's reached a point, though, because it's going to be so difficult for Sebastian to take down these towers. So I think, really, Viper just needs to just put his foot on the gas on water and just play primarily water right now. Pretty much what he's doing. He's still, of course, being stubborn here, and he's still losing bombard cannons. I mean, Sebastian is tasking that, guys. It's not like he is just getting lucky there, because he initially trebs the keep, and then he micros it onto the bombard cannon. There is, trebs aren't always 100% accurate, so he's got a little lucky there. But that's pretty much all he could work with. Armenians don't have bombard cannons themselves. That's a lot of navy from Sebastian. He has more galleons than Viper does. The towers, though, for Viper are going to be really helpful against the navy. Not sure. Did Viper get heated shot? Does it not have university up here? Okay. Not actually sure if Viper got heated shot. which would really help his towers. He most likely did, because it's like a really obvious one. Okay, chat's telling me he did. Perfect. So he also got arrow slits too. Guys, this is the fight we're going to see from Sebastian today. I think the key for him, if he's going to beat Viper in this semifinal, is he has to put Viper under a little bit more pressure. Now, he made a lot of Navy in early feudal, which could be seen as pressure on a water map. But it didn't really affect Viper's plans too much. And Trebuchet there for Sebastian will not take out this tower. And Sebastian can't really take any stone and gold here. Viper happy to play this game as is, I'd say. Sebastian needs one more crazy moment. He needs one or two crazy moments to somehow turn this around, and so he's going to go for the demos. Now, I wouldn't suggest going for heavy demo against war galleys. Or galleons for that matter. But the demos for this civilization are ridiculous. And maybe if he can catch Viper off, he can kill 15, 30 ships and somehow have a snowball here. It really feels like he recognizes this is his last wave, because he's running out of trees and he's running out of access to gold because the towers are still up. Viper shifted his cannons over here now. And he'll soon take out this castle as well. And it's just like Sebastian is repairing all of his castles. His Woodico is getting slaughtered. And yeah, he's queued up some demos, and he's going to have one big move. The problem would be that Viper is probably expecting some desperation here, right? Because he's got control everywhere. He's like, well, what's his move then? Because I'll win the game otherwise. And there go the demos. Viper spreading out his units. Viper shooting the majority of the demos, and that's not a highlight that Sebastian was hoping for there. He killed maybe as many ships as he sent in. That's just not worth it with the demos, and GG's called. Viper remains undefeated so far in Warlords 3. Really patient play there from the Viper. I mean, he gave up so much control. I think if the roles are reversed, I'm just thinking, okay, a high-level player's got this much control here on water, on a water map. This could be a problem for a Korean player. But it felt like Viper always had a plan. His economy transitions were perfect. And then the sneaky transports, man. The war wagons into the sneak villas just did so much for him here. The fact that Viper could take every resource in his island and Sebastian couldn't take like maybe a half of his island was all because of this push. And that is a big one in terms of the series because Armenians was the #1 pick for Sebastian. And Viper also has Armenians as well himself. So that is one we'll remember based on the game, but also based on the draft. Let's not forget, Sebastian was 3-1 down to Yo and beat Yo 4-3. So Sebastian knows coming into any series, he's going to lose games, but he has the skill to still win the series. That was Viper doing Viper things right there. 67,000 resources collected. Sebastian did have more stone, probably from the middle. But beyond that, Viper just outboomed him the whole game. And Viper also took really good fights. I loved how, even though the Drummonds destroyed like multiple docks and the castle and the towers, I still love how Viper added them and was, repairing them and mixing in text. It was always offering enough resistance on the front while he needed so he could do the other things. And then when it got real bad in the middle, then he shifted in with a big wave of Navy. Super difficult, in my opinion, to execute like Viper did there. So I love how Sebastian is choosing to play these games, right? Because sometimes players will try and save their best strats until they've already been demoralized or, until things have gone south for them. That has not been the case for Sebastian. He went for his #1 civilization pick in game #1 against Viper. So he just wanted to start off hot. And now he goes for Magyars on Land Madness. Like, Magyars are seen as one of the best civilizations for this map. And Sebastian, a really aggressive player. It just felt like the theme in the previous game is the aggression for Sebastian didn't do much for him, right? And he took a similar amount of economic damage to the lesser aggression from Viper. Here, there will be no fishing ships. And we'll have Magyars, which will probably be lots of scouts. And Viper's got Malians, who are extremely flexible and can go for scouts as well. Now, what you're looking at here is a matchup where the longer the game goes, the better it is for the Malians, I would say, until like maybe post Imperial Age. I think Imperial Age, the Cav Archers for Magyars are pretty insane. Actually, now that I say Cav Archer, I actually think Cav Archers in Castle Age could be kind of dangerous for the Malians. So maybe Sebastian won't be too unhappy with getting to Castle Age in an even position here. Malians are just they're so nice. They bring in gold a little bit faster. All their wood buildings are discounted. It feels like a fluid economic civ. Magyars don't have a single eco bonus, but their army's just insane. Wood lines look much better for Sebastian here. Viper's wood situation is brutal. I mean, this is his best wood line, and that is in like the middle of the map. Viper will know that that's kind of how this map goes, but sometimes there are some bigger wood lines that generate, which Sebastian has. And again, you cannot wall on the stone terrain. Now, what Viper is best at with Land Madness, he typically goes for the greater economic civ, and he will survive the early wave of attack, wait till you make one mistake, and then he's all over you in late feudal. I think the difference between Viper or someone like Hera, who we're going to see, or even Tato, who we're going to see in the second semi, is that Viper will opt for the faster Castle Age most times, whereas usually I'd say like Tato or Hera might make a little bit more feudal age army after taking some control. It does depend on a variety of different factors though, so hard for me to really give you more info than that. But neither player here is really expecting anything but scouts. It is simply a map where I think if you don't go for scouts, especially with the civs chosen here, you're probably going to regret it. So both players pushing in their deer, nom nom nom. And both players going to need to wall up their wood lines here. I said this about Viper's game against Doubt on Haboob. And I like what's happening here. Like, I have seen a lot of situations where Viper has quick-walled things that normal humans have no business quick-walling. And sure, it's amazing. And if I could do it, I'm sure that I would try and do that too, because it must feel so damn good, right? But I have also seen instances, particularly over the last 2 years, where Viper doesn't pre-wall anything like a normal human, and then he fails one, and then he loses 3 vills. And we're like, well, why didn't you do this to protect yourself? So Viper playing it safe is basically what I'm pointing out. I think that's just really good play. It's just, everyone should do it. Sebastian should be doing the same. You don't have to do it now, though, by the way. You could, like, wait, in theory, another minute until the opponent actually sends army your way. Sebastian shows up, finds Viper's base, sees the stable, and now is looking for the wood lines. And we'll find that Viper has some walls down. And Viper's just like, I really don't want to go attack you because I know you are Magyars and you are making scouts. And he was going to push the deer, saw the scout from Sebastian coming by, and decided maybe I should scout my opponent. Just to confirm my suspicions here. Yeah, like pre-walling is needed. I'm surprised Sebastian hasn't done it. And Sebastian coming forward with his own spears right now. So trying to be as aggressive as possible, force the issue with whatever he can. I mean, Viper's going to need more spears. What makes this push strong is Viper can't use his scouts in the fight because of the spearmen. But same thing for Sebastian, of course, if Viper has enough spears, and it seems like Viper's going to be fine. And now Sebastian realizes Viper must be coming over, and he drops the walls. So, well played from both there. Just a small thing. Viper will potentially overchop here at some point, but we are a bit away from that. That would come at a time where it'd be pretty brutal, though. And here, Sebastian wasn't fully walled yet. And he adds a spear, and Viper runs away. Viper really struggling to get his farming eco down. Look at the wood floating. He's still got 200 wood in the bank right now. It's not the end of the world, but it is definitely something you'd expect to be happening for him at a slightly faster pace. I mean, Sebastian's just been insane with it. I think Sebastian and Hart, 2 players that are very similar to Hera with how quickly they expand their farms in these types of situations. Also, did you guys hear what Sebastian mentioned in his interview with Memb yesterday? In regards to farms? He's not doing it now, of course. But he mentioned that, at least in the polls game, he said with auto farm, he says it's just like, and then he's got 1 million farms. It's interesting because Sebastian's one of the best in the world. And using auto farm, at least with the polls. Polls and then messy game, I think, makes it a no-brainer. My point of view on the whole auto farm thing is it absolutely should affect competitive play, except for maybe like 4 players in the world. It is really strong in many situations. I think in 6 to 12 months, it won't even be a conversation. It's not going to be like, oh, this pro player is using it. It's going to be like, oh yeah, everyone uses it. Why wouldn't they? That is a lot of scouts for Sebastian. Viper, oh, if Viper's Spearman gets lured out of position, this could be dangerous for Viper. I mean, he hasn't lost any vills, but he's never been able to take engagements against Sebastian's army. Well, Sebastian's army, though, is primarily scouts. And Viper's not going to be surprised by it here. Viper knows that it's primarily scouts. Here he's pre-walling, so he doesn't overchop the area we mentioned. Here he's fine. And Viper, no range yet. Sebastian adding a range now. It feels like if Sebastian can keep these scouts alive and also go into archers, this could be really devastating for Viper right now. I wonder if Viper gets armor for his spears here. Yeah, he's going to go for forging. I guess, like, upgrading the spears in general, probably fine. Malians do get the extra pierce armor on their infantry per age. Their spearmen still suck against archers. Like, don't go Malian spearmen against archers just because of the armor. But I would have kind of liked to see the second armor, knowing that Sebastian has archers too on the way. Oh, man, but Viper scouts are here. And there's a spear from Sebastian. The spear's going to be focused down. Sebastian needs to get a quick wall or he's going to lose a vill. And he is not going to get a quick wall on this one. And first villager of the game is going to go down. And blacksmith is denied. So, like, just like we saw from Viper in the previous game, invest less into the attack, finds a little bit more value. But guys, I mean, Viper, here he's going to take a good fight. But here he could have some real problems with this gold being forward. That's really good control from Viper, though. I don't think Sebastian was expecting to lose that fight. Viper didn't see the range, so this archer is a surprise to him, and he actually was going to tower and cancels it. And killed another villager here. Viper's multitasking's been insane. Sebastian probably a little surprised himself. Sebastian's like, he's been able to outmaneuver Winchester at times, Yo at times, but Viper, like every time he goes in right now, it seems like Viper's finding some type of some type of answer to him. I mean, I personally would really still like to see the tower, right? I think it is, with that gold, it is playing a risky game to not drop the tower there. Viper feels like he doesn't need it, and that he can just chill here, and Sebastian lurking for villager kills on farms. Sebastian's army count is really nice right now, but still looking for the kills. Here he actually is going to lose an archer. Here, Viper doesn't have the army around just yet. Viper could lose plenty of villagers here, but Sebastian just scared because there's just random spears and archers everywhere from Viper. And Viper gets the kill on the archer there. A little surprised Sebastian didn't try and engage there, but there were spearmen in the mix. Viper would probably fight off with vills, and then he has the archers behind. Viper's archer count is going to be really healthy here. And again, paying attention to those wood lines, and Viper clicks up to Castle Age. Wow. Sebastian's up as well. And we see the second range from Sebastian, which to me means cav archers. But he is producing archers as well right now, so it might be the crossbowman upgrade. I like this from Sebastian. Now he's going to show Viper that he's here. He's probably looking for farm kills. That farmer wanted to drop off the food. Sebastian's like, okay, I need a villager kill after losing those scouts. Thank you. Finally gets his villager kill. Goes in for another one. Doesn't get that one. I think Viper caught a glimpse of these archers, though. And Sebastian just felt like he could not fight Viper on the front. And now Viper's aware of this, and Viper won't take losses here. Viper again. In a really good spot. Now, because he didn't tower, he can TC somewhere. And, ooh, Viper actually cutting this army off in the corner. Sebastian is trapped in here. And again, it's just like, I mean, Sebastian brought so much aggression here. How many times do you see this much army sent towards somebody and they find damage? And Viper's just like, yep, actually, I'm going to defend from everything pretty much perfectly. Sebastian will get whatever trade he can get from this and kill a couple archers, but he will lose more than Viper. And the scouts are kind of a non-factor right now. First thing Viper needs to do, in my opinion, is a university. With the Malians, rushing ballistics can win games here. And it's going to be an archer war, where Viper just has more archers. Sebastian looking, seeing Viper doesn't have an army at home right now. And there's the university for Viper. There's the second TC for Viper. Sebastian doesn't know Viper's army is coming towards him, but he has walled to the edge. Here he's kind of walled as well. And Viper's gold, vulnerable, and Viper needs to pull away from this gold. I mean, maybe he's going to have the army here in a moment, so he doesn't want to pull away. Maybe he's distracted. I'm not sure the exact situation here. Oh, man, but he's running into Sebastian's base. Viper does have crossbows coming over to deal with this. He does have the knights, and you can tell Sebastian's distracted, guys, because Viper's looping in and he's panicking. Sebastian doesn't know what to do. The tower was a nice preemptive move, but Viper is here. He's going to kill 1, 2, probably 3 vills, and then he can actually still sit under the tower. This is devastating. This is just devastating. Sebastian needed a house there. Viper took full advantage. He's defended himself at home. He's killed everything Sebastian has sent his way, and he's booming, guys. He's on 2 town centers. Everything is moving so fast in this series, but it just seems to benefit the Viper, who remains undefeated. This is so tough for Sebastian, because, guys, he towered the back of his base. He was thinking he'd use the army to protect the front. And now some of his army needs to come back here. Viper just runs away anyways. And now Sebastian's going to lose the front of his base. This game is over. This game is over. Viper's going to be up 2-0 here. There's no way Sebastian can come back from this position. Viper is simply in too good a spot. Will not lose the game from here. These crossbows will find more Vill kills. And again, I love what Sebastian has done in this tournament, but also how he's chosen to play this. He went aggressive in the first game, picking his best civ. He went for Magyars, which is one of the best civs here. But he might be a little bit stunned at the moment. Viper is just looking so freaking good, man. Remember, this is the Sebastian that came back against Yo, of all people, 1-4-3. He also beat Winchester 4-2 after Winchester had beaten ACCM. Sebastian struggling to find any advantages here against Viper. Let's be honest, Viper played that wonderfully. I want to talk about the confidence here a second, okay? We talked about playing safe with the palisade walls, which is totally understandable. I love the fact that Viper did that. Do you remember when Viper dropped that tower? That felt like a very natural timing for a tower. Would you guys agree? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. In my assessment, with where this gold was and how important it was to Viper and how little army he was, him starting to place that tower felt fine for me. I was thinking, okay, that's good. He plays it safe. He can mine some stone again later on to get the stone back for TCs. Viper just said, nah, I don't need the tower because I'm going to out-micro him. I'm going to have more army and my fights are going to be fine. That was a confidence move for me. And he was right. 2-1 KD there for the Viper. And economically, 1,500 resources ahead. And now Sebastian's going to have to work his way out of this hole. Again, he did it before. But we are talking about Viper, who is now 10-0 in Warlords 3 and is playing some of the best Age I've seen in a really long time from him. So the meta on this map, game number 3, on top of trying to steal as many boars as possible, which players will try and do here, is to... Wow, there's like no boar over here for Viper to get. Interesting. The meta here has oftentimes been spears and skirms, and I'm thinking that since the Armenians can make Dark Age spearmen, that we might have some funky play here from the Viper. Now, the players start with their horse. And Viper is thinking he's going to try and snag this boar or lame the boar. He's got two choices. And actually, Sebastian is already starting to take that boar. And I don't even think Sebastian knew Viper was there. So Viper's going to come over here. Now, we don't have any sneak vills from Sebastian. Viper's bringing in his first boar. And this boar is going to be killed off. Sebastian can kind of tell. If you come look at this, you're just going to see the boar go, huh, huh. You know, he's trying to attack. So there are some things you could do. Like, technically, if you attack that palisade wall and take it down, the boar will then be able to hit Viper's Vill and kill it. But it's unlikely that you're going to do anything like that against Viper here. And Viper here now walking over here to look at this boar. So far, it doesn't look like Sebastian has actually been able to stop Viper or even try take Viper, taking any of Viper's boars away. And Viper blocking the Vill. And yeah, now Sebastian needs to attack the palisade. Now Viper just needs to hit the palisade. And oh, wow, the boar actually... That's weird. I don't know why the boar stopped attacking Viper's villager, but now Sebastian wants to take the boar, guys. Viper has been ruthless today, and he is going to be ruthless again here, and Sebastian is a Vill down. Viper says, I'm sorry. Did you think that boar was yours? Because that boar was so very clearly mine, and Sebastian's going to take it now. I mean, it's just ruthless, right? It's just absolutely ruthless. And I think Sebastian reacted properly there to try and go out there and get that boar, but Viper just got the block in. Now, that's what Sebastian needs to do himself now. He did it against Winchester many times. He needs to try and get over here. Man, these boars are not reacting to villagers. That does happen sometimes where if you shoot them, I don't know why, but sometimes they just one shot, and if you click away too fast, they'll just not chase you, but it feels like it's happened a lot here. It's probably just because they've been clicking so fast. So Sebastian got 2 boars? Maybe he got 3, actually. We did miss a lot of it. He's up to the next stage already. He'll be fine. Viper knows this boar is here. He'll be patient. And Viper's going to click up. Now, spears and skirms have been the meta. Smothering the opponent with lots of them has been how most players have played. We did see one matchup where we had players go scouts, but I really think that Viper might try feudal age longswords. I think opening with longswords is probably way too ambitious because it's really expensive. But if this becomes a game where everyone just has leftover skirms, I could see Viper choosing to just stay in feudal and going crazy aggressive. Armenians could get their barrack technologies 1 age earlier. The exception there is they cannot get pikemen in Dark Age. Or wait, no, they can't get man-at-arms in Dark Age, sorry. What do you guys think if they did get man-at-arms in Dark Age? Too strong? Considering Armenians seem kind of weak on land right now, and they're mainly just picked from water maps, it's kind of interesting, but I could see why the devs didn't want them to have man-at-arms in Dark Age. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about the Armenian balance recently, so it's probably too much. We wouldn't know unless they tried it, you know? Because I think it's a really big investment. Like, you want to go man-at-arms in Dark Age, you're never making it to feudal. I don't know. I don't know if it would really be all that strong or not. Viper scouted the back of his base. And now he'll be scouting to try and find what his opponent's doing. And he's sitting right on the range. He will not be surprised. But you might be like, okay, T90, but Viper knew it'd be a skirm war. Why is he just doing this? Well, first off, oh, he is getting double bid X. That didn't show up. All right, interesting. I think Viper is going to wait until the economies are stronger for him to potentially try this switch. That's my thinking. Lithuanian skirms are speedier. And Viper will be happy that the Armenians have the stronger mule cart upgrades, so his wood choppage will be more efficient. More efficient choppa here for the Viper. It's kind of like such a funny little fight to commentate each time. I really struggle to hype it up. But basically, numbers matter with the skirms. I don't know. how many people are ticklish out there, but this would be the equivalent of getting tickled to death, which would probably be worse than just one-shotting me with a cannonball, honestly. I would choose cannonball all day. Ooh. There used to be hunt out here. Sebastian killed that off with the spear. That is really smart there from Sebastian. And now Sebastian's able to take his hunt. So that really helps him as he is harassing Viper right now. But again, the skirms are just faster for Sebastian, so it should be easier for him to find good fights, and Viper's got to be very careful here. He now opts for range number 2. He's just trying his best to get the new skirmishers from Sebastian as they come over to his base. But this could be a Deadville. Viper will probably go a little wall here or a gate or something. Whoop! Yeah. Crazy. Vil could still die. Viper sacrifices a skirm to basically save the Vil. And Villager will just be on the farm now, most likely. So it's 9 skirms for Sebastian. It's 6 for Viper. The ecos are looking really similar here. Sebastian's done a great job so far. Are we going to see a point soon where Viper feels like he has the resources to click man-at-arms and consider long swords? I don't think his eco's there yet. I think he needs like 5 or 6 more farms to consider it. But I'm telling you guys, I don't think we've seen Viper's plans for the Armenians yet. Yes, maybe he was comfortable with Koreans and Northern Isles. But I think he was comfortable with Koreans on Northern Isles while also thinking in the back of his mind that he could use the Armenians here. And Sebastian gets caught out. Well, keep in mind, no upgrades for either player, but Viper just finding those skirms. I think if at any point Sebastian's losing a fight in feudal, though, it just comes back to micro, right? It should never come back to even numbers because he can choose when to take the fights. Are we going to see a stable considered, right? I mean, a stable would be really reasonable for either. It's pure skirms. Go for scouts would be good. That's what we saw from Sebastian against Yo. And Yo didn't know the scouts were coming. There's the stable from Sebastian. Pretty much the same spot as he did when he was up against Yo as well. Now, Viper doesn't see that stable. His horse is active. I think it might be on auto scout right now. Viper sees this, though. And so Viper feels like he could maybe kill some Vils here. Now, though, Viper is going to be completely overwhelmed by skirmishers here. And this is amazing for Sebastian and better for Sebastian, in my opinion. Because Sebastian will have the scout coming out. And even though Sebastian's now lost that Vil, how many is Viper going to lose over here if he doesn't add something more? And, you know, I'm still waiting for that moment where we get real excited about the Armenians for Viper. This is not it, though, because he's going to see that stable and he's going to be panicking. If he does ever panic. And tower up from Viper. That's the right play. Sebastian, a really good spot, though. Sebastian has played this very strong. Viper able to get home with his skirmishers, which is kind of a big deal. And Viper, I mean, he's just got so much army around him right now. It's just, I use the word smothering. That's what it is. This is just simply so awkward. Spear runs into skirms. That's sloppy from Viper. As Sebastian's going to have like 20 skirms and 5 scouts soon. Viper doesn't have an answer to this. Even if it wasn't his original plan, I think now is the time where you have to try something crazy. And maybe consider clicking man-at-arms. And maybe hoping you can get to longswords here. Are longswords good enough against feudal age units? They could be. It's going to come in right now, guys. I promise you. Man-at-arms. What? I just don't know. He needs a different type of unit. His micro's good. It's not this good. Against Lithuanians. It's going to be really difficult. He may try Castle H. Maybe he clicks Castle H first. He's mining gold. Most likely thinking about Castle. Could always see him drop a market. Yep. So he might buy some food so we can click up to Castle H faster. Sebastian just needs to park his skirms around the farms. And probably I say stop making army, but he's been demolished by Viper, so he feels like he needs a little bit more. It kills the villager there from Viper. I really like how Sebastian's played this. He's still making skirms. And he will not allow Viper to come back in any of these fights. The idle time for Viper, let's just look at the worker efficiency. It's actually overall 70% for Viper, overall 76% for Sebastian this game. Viper trying to make it his way up to the next stage. Sebastian coming for kills, and Viper house walls everywhere. And Viper clicks up. I mean, the fact that Sebastian is considering more upgrades and more scouts makes me worried that he's over-investing. Come on, Viper. Click. Oh, he's going to go for a stable now. He's going to go for knights. God, man. I got so pumped about feudal longswords. But it just goes right back to knights. Which, let's face it, is the much better option here for Viper. It is going to be more mobile than longswords. They've got better stats than longswords. And Viper needs a lot right now. Look how many weak vills are dancing on farms for Viper. Not any longer. Loses that one. He's barely alive. And now Sebastian drops a tower to hit Viper's gold. I actually think the left tile could still maybe take a little bit of gold. Like if Viper moves the mule cart, maybe it's fine. But now even his farmers are getting hit. Now he has to go for more house walls here. I think he's trying to get access to this gold. And Viper doesn't have it. There's a hole! Disaster for Viper. This is amazing for Sebastian. Sebastian's soon going to click up to Castle Age. He'll be very happy with this as long as he's killed these villagers. Yep. I think that's okay. Viper's eco in shambles. I think Viper's thinking there was let's quickly expand here and we could shift over to this gold and drop a TC there. I think that's really smart. Normally, I would say oh my god, Sebastian's vills are defaulting to the farms from Viper. Guys, I mentioned this multiple times in this tournament. So what's happening? I think it's a bug. If there is a player who has abandoned their farms in one base, the other player will finish a farm and their farmers will default to running over to take those farms. I haven't talked to the devs about it yet, but basically, usually, to take someone else's farms, you have to automatically click them. But Sebastian did not try that. I guarantee you a farm finished, and they said, oh, there's a farm right there. That's a perfectly good farm. And they walked over here. Viper counterattacking. Sebastian's going to be like, well, how did I lose those vills? Sebastian's still not up. Don't tell me there's a chance. Sebastian is going to be off of his gold. Sebastian doesn't have a tower back here because he built the tower on Viper's gold. Viper doesn't really have a lot of food eco to make many more knights, but the knights that he does have now are incredibly strong. Look at Sebastian's villagers here. These guys are like, this is fine. This is fine. They're just hoping they don't get found instead of running away right now. Viper kind of getting harassed over here. Viper here using his knights against the scouts. And Viper solely killing villagers here from Sebastian. But honestly, it could have been worse for Sebastian. Viper could find more damage if he searches. There's villagers up here. It says that Viper's actually scouted that. So I think his auto scout found that for him. And then Sebastian found this with his actual scout. And Sebastian dropping a tower here. Villagers are very weak. Sebastian might not even know he's been spotted here because he might be microing down here and over here. This is crazy. And Sebastian does notice and does at least save some of these villagers. Crazy game. Vill counts even. Vill counts even, but Sebastian has tons of spears. So Viper's knights can't really engage against the spears. And Viper needs a TC somewhere, man. They both really need a TC on this outside area. Viper has not been able to expand. He is stuck. And Viper is without gold right now. Oh, man. Viper has to take this fight to save some of his vills. Sebastian actually didn't engage right away. So a little distracted there. Viper's brought over his skirms to kill those vills. That's a good find. Fortified church here for Viper. Then he can garrison in that church. And Viper takes the fight against the spears. Look how many spears there were. And look at Viper whittle them down. That could be a really big deal if Viper could save these knights. And all the vills for Sebastian in the north die. Viper's eco is just a wreck, though, guys. It is not good. He's collected 1,100 resources. Sebastian has collected 13,000 resources this game. Sebastian's thinking was continue, like, never allow Viper to rest. And if I do that, I can win this game. And it's not pretty, but if he drops a TC here, yes, that's fine for Sebastian. Okay, did I say 1,100 for Viper? You guys know what I meant. That's how bad it feels. Viper's still in the Dark Age. Now, Viper sees the TC, and maybe he sensed that something might happen, but the TC garrison kills off his knights, and that means the skirms will die to the knights as well, and Sebastian is fine here. Sebastian, if he pays attention, will have monks around to convert any Viper raids. If he can have some time to chill here, he will be able to add that farming eco back at home. He's not allowing himself time to chill because he's focusing so much on killing Viper. Killing another villager there. Killing another villager here. This is sick control from Sebastian. Now, this is where I think we're actually going to see him auto-farm. I think we're going to look back at the CC and it's going to be like bub, 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 bub. It is South America to European server, which is a little bit... Which is, okay, he's not auto-farming. But anyways... Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He's fast enough. Drops them down. That's clearly human controlled. I do wonder, what's going to happen to his starting TC's eco? Like, if he loses control, sending vills from this area to other areas could get really awkward for him. Army count for Sebastian's insane. But he hasn't killed off the Viper yet. Viper dropping TC number 2 now. And Sebastian hoping to get relics. Not much Viper can do to really deny that. He never made scouts this game. He doesn't have much out there. What the... Oh my god. How is this knight not able to attack the skirt? What the... What? What? What is that? That is a thanks DE moment. It looked like both players realized what was happening there. How was Viper's skirmisher just standing there without taking any damage? Skill issue. I think Viper actually put it on patrol. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but it wouldn't surprise me if he realized, oh, that's a bug. Let me move it now so he can actually kill it. Look at Sebastian's eco now, guys, compared to Viper's. Viper's got 8 on food. Sebastian's going to have 20. And Sebastian's going to have multiple relics with Lithuanians. I mean, now when I think about Armenians, I'm thinking Halb in Castle Age. But, like, Viper doesn't even have pikemen. There's still leftover skirms. Everything I think about just leads me to believe that Sebastian's going to win this game. Sebastian's played it well. He just needs to ensure that Viper doesn't find any easy free damage. And Viper's looking around for that. Oh, and Viper didn't see it. He would have killed 6 vills there and denied the TC. He is distracted. This is amongst lots of raids from his opponent. And knights don't have that much line of sight, so he wasn't able to spot it. Felt like he really needed that. And Sebastian knows about these knights and will just send his own knights over, and his knights are stronger, so this is fine for him. Guys, I said this before about Sebastian. I love so much about his play. One of the best things for him is how consistent he is and his mindset, man. Like, it's so common to see people lose 2 games against Viper and then game 3 just looks like, you know? It's just not their best gameplay anymore because they have lost faith that they can win. And he just continues to try and stick to his game and has been able to show up here and perform incredibly clean. Like the first 2 games aren't in his mind at all. That is easier said than done. It is very difficult to not feel the strength of your opponent based on the first 2 games and then maybe lose a little bit of faith in yourself. So, sick job from him. I mean, more than anything, that's maybe the biggest thing we've seen. And he also knows there's a relic here, and he's going to kill Viper's... Oh! He doesn't kill Viper's monk. But he might not let Viper get this relic. Viper blocking off, but there's a bunch of monks here for Sebastian. Viper's not getting that relic. Viper will not get that relic. Sebastian might not either, but Sebastian's still got... Well, he does have an army over here that Viper doesn't see. Here, Sebastian's clearly lost some focus. But he's still focusing on all these monks. And he's going to convert one. He's going to convert two. And yeah, Sebastian will just... He'll actually be able to keep the monk alive, get the relic, maybe get it home. And Viper calls the GG. Sebastian, not dead yet. Sebastian played amazing here. And, you know, the positive for me, for Viper, it wasn't just the first two wins, but it was the fact he had his number one civ pick, Armenians, and that the plan was probably going to be insane. My thinking was, well, why pick Armenians number one if you don't have some crazy plan? This just felt as bland as can be. I mean, maybe he had a lot of faith in the mule carts, right? Because on this map, you do relocate a lot. But, yeah, not really sure what the thinking was. Lithuanians have always been top tier, and Sebastian, he played more aggressively than Viper here and never allowed Viper to rest. That is the first time Viper has lost in this tournament, by the way. It's finally happened. And 22,000 resources collected there for Sebastian. Like I said, in the blink of an eye, this could be a tied-up series if Sebastian's just still able to forget some of the level that Viper's brought. It's just crazy, man. The mental fortitude is unbelievable. Like, the fact that, like, he has gone from where he was 2 years ago. I'm going to make a video about this. Where he was 2 years ago, which is still really, really good, to bringing a competitive series here up against Viper is just wild. Remember, game number one went to, like, post-imp, right? Game number one was relatively close. Game number two, maybe not. This game wasn't close either, though. And it was for Sebastian. All right, game number two. And we've got Golden Lakes for the first time in the main event, if I'm not mistaken. We did see this map in the qualifier. This is the first home map we've seen from the Viper all day. That's the positive for Viper. He's still got his 3 home maps remaining. Or I guess 2 after that. We've got Viper has gone for his favorite Dravidians. And look at this build order from him, guys. He goes for a dock right away. And then he adds a fishing ship. So he has not dropped the lumber camp. He will do that after collecting enough wood from the straggler trees here. A build that I don't think would be that worth it if you didn't have the Dravidians. Getting the pop space from the dock feels really smooth in these situations. Focus on the map eventually comes down to the golds in the middle. Players do have 6 tiles of golds available at the top of their hill to work with. So for a while they're fine, but eventually middle is extremely important. These civs are very similar. Neither civilization's really good with their stables. Japanese can actually make knights, though, which is key in some moments. Both civs are fish, infantry, and archer civilizations. And so I would expect to see a lot of ranged units. But honestly, I actually wouldn't mind scouts here from either player. Scouts could be really helpful to get good scouting and control of the other pawns. Maybe it's just my infatuation with the salmon that's here in the water, but I really do feel as though some mobility for these two who are so good at using that could be really helpful. I agree that Sebastian's map has a lot more wood here. Like, if he's going to wall, it should be super easy. For Viper, it's a bit more open for him. I wouldn't say Viper's map is bad, though, right? I think it's important that we don't compare our wood lines to others in life, guys. All right? If you just start comparing your wood lines to others, you're not going to appreciate the base and the wood line that you have at home. All right? Viper's living a fine life over here with all the wood lines he has. He still has walls that are possible. So thankfully for Viper, he could just play from his vision and not our vision, and he won't get to see how good Sebastian's life is. All right? Thank you, Wildberry Skittles, for the 26. Happy to Andy. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the subs. Did we hit 3K subs yet today? I say yet as if we're going to do it. We're really close. I think we're close. Maybe we did. I don't know. Look at Viper wandering over here already. This villager left a long time ago. This guy's ready. This is for some fishing ship greed here from Viper. So weird how few shorefish there are on this map. Viper's got a... He's just hoping there is going to be one. Players will not build a dock. for fishing unless there is a shore fish, and he finds one. 30-30, sick. Thank you, guys. So no barracks for Viper yet. Wouldn't surprise me if he instantly drops one. Still hasn't gone for it. He's actually engaging against Sebastian's scout and is up so much faster. He might be like, how, T90? Well, because of how Viper timed his builds here. He took his fish early and took the rest of the wood late. The reason for that is because he gets the wood bonus with the Dravidians. So it's how you play a civilization that gets that extra 200 wood, which makes it really, really strong. And Viper is just perfect with the Dravidians. And now Sebastian doesn't have a scout, and he sees Viper's fast up, and he has to respect that Viper might be aggressive. Look at the decisions here. He's going for the range. He's going for town watch even. And Viper says, you want to lay me? I'm going to lose my scout underneath your TC. What was that? Viper, come on, bro. Go watch how other people do it. What are we doing? That is so bad. Really sloppy, guys. Like, having that scouting is super valuable. Losing a scout for a sheep? I don't know about that one. Especially because Viper didn't see the range is up. Oh, no way. Oh, my God. But Viper has actually brought this Vil here. So he's fishing here. And he is going to try and drop a dock on Sebastian's side. Let's see if Sebastian notices this. If he's paying attention, he'll notice that. Hard to pay attention to that. It's so late, right? It's so late to have that. Normally that happened much earlier. If Sebastian sent archers forward to Viper's base right away, Viper would be in trouble, but Sebastian just doesn't know. Sebastian also didn't see that Viper is here, by the way. And Viper can't see Sebastian. Sebastian's dock can now see that Viper's here, so that could lead to Viper losing some fishing ships. Sebastian did actually notice this. And Viper's actually dropping a galley here. Guys, I think this could be really good for Sebastian. Sebastian's going to kill this Vil. There's no way Viper saves this. Sebastian will defend his fish. Viper is going to lose his galley in the north. And he's going to lose his 2 fishing ships. And Viper doesn't have any real offensive land military right now. So, especially if Sebastian starts to patrol and control the south, this could be really nice. Viper now checking. And it's like right as the galley was about to come out. So now he's got this galley against a fire, and the galley will always lose that fight. At least good recognition from Viper to know there's going to be some pressure here. Viper is full walled here. He's definitely going to send this build to the south. He knows that his villager's on the outside. That's intentional. And he's just simply protecting his base on the front with his skirms, waiting for Sebastian to come in. Now here, Sebastian saves his villager with the archers. And it's funny, he's expecting Viper to have a Vil here, because that's normal, but he already killed that villager, because that was the villager that snuck to this dock. Sebastian hasn't seen anything from Viper here yet. Viper is still producing fires there. But guys, it's just so tough to have the amount of golden wood you need to do everything. And now this has been spotted. Sebastian's going to win this game. I mean, it's super early, but Sebastian has played amazing ever since losing his scout. I called it way too early. That was very reactionary from me, but he is in a really good position right now. I love how he's utilized the art. He hasn't even gone to Viper's base. He's like, nah, he's going to be waiting for me. He used the archers elsewhere, and Viper has only lost eco this game. And now Viper will need to probably plan for life without water. I mean, he could still use this pond, and he could fish trap back here. But it's unlikely that Viper is going to be able to win the northern pond. And it's unlikely he's going to be able to win the eastern pond. Viper will try. He will hop out with one of his fires, hoping to group up the fires from the opponent and demo them. But it's probably going to be Viper transitioning towards farms more than anything. Yeah, this is what I mean. So he hops out, and then he hopes to group them, and then boom them. That's actually good. And that's really important for Viper. Over here, he won't have the luxury of doing the same. Sebastian will win there. Sebastian using his fishing ship to block, but not repairing his ships. He seems like he wants to just put an end to this, and he doesn't want to waste any more time. That's so smart. Maybe considered a little wasteful, but I like the decision there. And he's Japanese, too, so his fish will not go down quickly either if anyways, even if Viper's attacking them, so... Viper comes down here with skirms to find that there's a dock from Sebastian. And I mean, Sebastian has been there for a while. So, Sebastian, 9 fishing ships, and counting, will have 3 pawns to 1. As Dash would say, this is the TPD, the triple pawn domination. So Sebastian's got to pay attention here. Sebastian has to pay attention here. He's done everything right. There's no Repairville. He just needs to pay attention here. He is going to block, but I mean, Viper is hoping that he could just send in enough fires here to kill fish. This is an important moment. If this dock was out of the picture, Viper would have never even gone for War Galley here, I promise you. Viper will actually kill fish here, guys. That is crazy. He will actually kill fish. I'm not kidding. I'm surprised he's focusing on the fires. I don't agree with that. I actually think maybe you should be moving out to just kill the fish, but he does have the superior fires, and his micro's been really nerdy. And at home, it's TC2 and TC3. And you know why I don't agree with what Viper's doing? Because I can't do this. Right. I just lose my fire and not kill fish, but Viper says, no, no, no. How about I kill the fires and I kill the fish? And oh my god, that's so good. Like, if he can kill these fish, it makes losing everything else somewhat okay here. Because it will take quite an investment for Sebastian to add this many fishing ships again. Look at Viper. He uses his own dock to block. You could do damage over your own dock, but they can't do damage over yours. And then TCs are going up for Viper as well, which Sebastian hasn't done yet. And wow, this is so good for Viper. It's not great, right? Like, it's not like game winning, but it's game holding. It gives him a chance to stabilize. He's not massively behind because of this dock and just the stubbornness there from Viper. Now it is 6 fishing ships for both. And Viper's next plan will be somehow getting to the middle. Sebastian going to come to the middle right away to drop a TC there. And he'll try to damage the Viper, as Viper's already collected 1 relic. And he should know now it's risky to move out with monks, but he just can't help himself. Oh man, actually, Sebastian into the TC for a second. And a Cav Archer gets converted! Cav Archer gets converted! Oh, no! Oh! Oh! So he lost 2 Cav Archers to 1 monk. That's probably really good for Viper then. And now, guys, like, think about the economic transitions, right? Sebastian has a ton of food, but he's spending the majority of his wood on Cav Archers. If Viper can defend from the Cav Archers and spend his wood on farms, his economy will be looking much better as they think about Imperial Age. And you can tell already that Viper's thinking about a castle, either in the middle or at the top of the hill here. But Sebastian needs to go siege. This is the right play. Like, siege against the Dravidians is the play. They're usually just going to go skirms. And then their monks can't get redemption. They don't have an easy answer to heavy siege push. This is so... Oh my goodness. Viper just randomly coming in with the relic. And he converts the Vil. So now he knows the siege workshop will eventually complete. But he delays it. Over here he has a few skirms. And Viper knows that workshop will complete. So he's going to drop his own here. Viper might need a market if he doesn't already have one to buy some stone. Just like earlier in the game, I was saying, like, I would do this, that, then the other. I would definitely buy the stone right now. I'd just be like, nope, I'm not even going to go into the siege work. Just give me the castle now. Thank you. Viper slowly bringing in the stone. He is going to drop a market, though. Skirms know the Cav Archers will look to find damage here. And they're not even elite Skirm yet. They don't even have Bod Canero yet, but Sebastian seems pretty scared of Viper. It's like every time he shows up, Viper has enough resistance to make Sebastian think he won't do the damage. I think Viper accidentally sold stone. Maybe I'm wrong. No, that wasn't an accident because he wanted elite Skirm. Monks have to stay close to the TC for Viper. Skirms have to stay behind the walls. Light Cav come in to kill the monks. Viper loses one monk, but is into the TC. And now here comes this pressure from Sebastian. Guys, this is a lot. Sebastian's also pressuring over here. There, Viper got a hit. Do you place the castle next to your TC or fully in the middle here, guys? I think it can't be fully in the middle. That's too risky. I think you just have to place it in a spot that gives you the hill next to the TC, and then future castles could be towards the middle. How's Sebastian's economy looking? It's looking good. It's not looking as great as Viper's, though. Viper's got a significant villager lead right now. And Viper has to be careful rolling over the farm like that. You can click the farm and get an extra tile of range. Sebastian will know that. We call that the crop shot. Sebastian trying to surround the Viper, and Viper killing units on both sides. And again, maybe some confidence building. Viper wants to assess the situation to know how viable it is for him to place the castle in the middle here, guys. That outpost and the fact he hasn't built a castle yet tells us that. The Light Cav just aren't finding the shots that Sebastian's looking for. There's the crop shot. Mangonel needs to be repaired. I think Viper might bring it to the middle here shortly. I'm getting ballistics now. And the Cav archers try and break through, and just Viper's defending so nicely here. It's crazy. You can tell Viper may be thinking about the castle, but Sebastian's got so much army. I mean, if things go wrong, Viper's going to regret not having another castle. Castle and Imp could still win the game for Viper without the middle, right? Even a castle right here. The Viper has to be so careful, man. Siege can counter everything he's got. Again, Viper into that town center, using the safety of the TC so perfectly here. Does Viper go for it now? I think Viper goes for it now. I think he sees Sebastian's army here, and he goes. That's what he wants. He figures he could defend with siege here. Skirms are enough here, and the siege is coming from this position. I think Viper will make the move if he sees the CA. He's really wondering where they are right now. It would be a big risk if he goes for it without knowing where the CA... Look, he sees the CA, and he moves to the middle. And actually, from what we know, he could go further. And he knows the TC is there, and he's going to go further. That's so crazy, man. The castle's on the way up. Sebastian needs to deal with that. And Sebastian is like, oh, no. I need to come deal with this now. And he's looping back around. Can Viper complete this castle? He has Dravidian skirms with ballistics. He's building this with 9 villagers, which is a risky amount. The Cav archers are on the way. Viper needs to send more vills, maybe. The siege is getting microed down. There will be siege on the way from Sebastian. Sebastian is losing his Cav archers, though. And Sebastian has to focus down the vills. You have to go for the vills. You're going to lose your army anyways. Got to stop the castle. If the castle goes up, it's horrible for you. He's got siege on the way. Viper's bringing more vills. Viper's actually sacrificing vills. 85%. The villagers will be clumped. This castle might not go up. Sebastian trying his best here. Castle's up from Viper. That was crazy. And now, unfortunately for Sebastian, he'll lose all of his siege. He will lose the position fully because Viper has enough for another castle. Still has more villagers. And it was just crazy patience there for Viper, right? And for Sebastian, he felt like the numbers he was sending to threaten Viper weren't enough. And so that's why he sent his full group, and that's what Viper was waiting for. I don't know how you come back from this one if you're Sebastian. You've got one choice, one chance, and that would be Imp. However, you need to defend from these skirms right now with siege that is being produced from the front of the map. So it's really uncomfortable. And Viper should recognize that Sebastian's way back into this is Imp, especially if he sees that stone's being mined. And he will probably, and he is already idling his TCs to click up to Imp. This was so well executed from the Viper. I can't help but think, though, back to this pond. And if Sebastian had that protected with 10 fishing ships. It was Viper's stubbornness on that pond, and winning that combined with his excellent greed and economy at home. And now, like, you know, Sebastian, he can actually run through with DCA. There's still a hole there. Viper forgot about that. That could be huge. Sebastian's just losing villagers to skirmishers, though. Oh, it's a painful, painful, painful situation. T90, you said Sebastian's going to win too much before? Yeah, maybe I jinxed the poor guy. I mean, he's finding this. He could maybe get a castle down using the market. It was a really good start to feudal age for Sebastian. But Viper just turned it around, man. He turned it around. And here, he knows the army's going to run away. He'll gladly sacrifice a villager or two to kill all these cab archers. As Sebastian is stuck against Dravidian skirmishers. Viper again says, fine, kill my vills. Who cares? I want your army. Where are you even going to go? And these skirms denied the stone, and Sebastian has never been able to get back to it, which Viper will always camp. And Viper is about to be 3-1 up here. His eco is flying, guys. Just flying. It was just early castle age. Sebastian invested so much into the attacks that never did what he wanted here. Also, like, if this matchup is infantry ranged unit, I think Dravidians have the superior infantry ranged unit. I have actually never seen Yarumi versus Samurai. Now we're really getting into it. I don't think we're going to see Samurai. But, the skirms, at least, the faster firing skirms are insane. And then also, Japanese don't have bomber cannons, which the Dravidians do. Shout out to the elephant archer Viper has in queue. And GG. Viper wins. Now, I want to go back to it, guys, because, you know, I want to talk about where did Viper turn this around. Remember, it was triple pond domination here from Sebastian. That is what you want on this map. But it somehow fell apart because of this stubbornness from Viper on the pond. This moment here. You go all the way back to it. You're looking at this, pretty much. So Sebastian... actually, it was a little bit before, excuse me. Basically, Viper baited Sebastian up against his dock multiple times. Here. So, like, it was a new ship against a weak ship. And Sebastian thought, okay, I win that, and then I have one more fire. I don't need to focus on this anymore. In actuality, Viper doing this meant that Sebastian noticed way too late that that was happening. And Viper researched War Galley, hoping, praying that he would still have this area, he would still have ships here, and he would kill all these fish. And that's precisely what he did. And meanwhile, look at Viper. I'm just going to fast forward. Look at his TCs. So he doesn't go for like all the military buildings that Sebastian does, like double range. He goes for the town centers right away. And he defended great. He macroed great after killing those fish. It really felt like this was the moment where I'm thinking Sebastian has the lead. Suddenly, you fast forward once the fish are dead and Viper has the town centers and Viper actually has the lead. This level is so punishing. Viper now 1 win away from making it to the finals. And really good play from him there again. It really does feel like Viper's weakest point against Sebastian is going to be on a map that doesn't incorporate water. And a map where Sebastian could maybe be like really, really smothering and aggressive in early feudal. But we've had 2 maps like that, and Viper's already won one of them. So well played there from Viper. Well, folks, Viper's up 3-1 here. 1 win away from heading to the Warlords 3 finals. He's played so good. No longer undefeated, of course, because of how good Sebastian's played. And we said the type of map that Sebastian's going to want here would be a map where he can pressure Viper right away. This is not one of them. Vietnamese for the Viper here. He will, of course, know exactly where his enemy's TC is. That is not that helpful on this map because you kind of know that they're in the chunk of the woodline anyways. It kind of looks like a weird... Well, normally it looks like a bat symbol. I'm not sure what this looks like now. But what is nice is the Vietnamese late game. Though Vietnamese could potentially struggle against the Imperial Age Eagles from Sebastian. And honestly, with how things have looked here, if I'm Sebastian, I might not even want to go to Imp. I think I might want all-in Castle Age Eagle spam here. You don't have to do that. You could go, they have great skirmishers, great archers. You could just combine those things, and they have good economy. You can boom. But we'll see what Sebastian's approach is going to end up being. Right now, he's got a Vill running all the way over here to build a mining camp on gold. So it seems to me like he will try and go archers here. And Viper just pushing in some of his deer now. And he's going out here for the mill. Usually this map is a scout opening, regardless of what your late game strengths are. Incas just simply cannot go for scouts, as they cannot make a stable, so makes sense that Sebastian would probably mix it up. I do think that Eagle, Skirmisher, and Spear is really awkward to deal with in Feudal Age for most civs, so maybe Sebastian will try that. But the food and wood eco is safe. The gold, and I guess in this case, berry eco is not. And that's kind of the key here. A couple shout-outs. Capjow, what's up, man? We haven't seen enough monks for you. I know that much, right? Thanks for the 16 months. Juggler has subscribed for 38 months now. And guys, I'm not sure if this is good for people who are new or bad for people who are new to here. But he says, when I started, I did not think I'd be here still. Well, thanks. And also, thanks, I guess. For, you know, not believing you'd still be here, and then also, you know, still being here. Big Tasty Bacon, thanks for the 8 months. This is all hail king of the losers. He's not talking about me, guys. That's just the 8 taunt. You know that. Again, support's been awesome. I've been nerding out all week, man. After 2.5 months, 3 months, really, of not really being here as much, so. Will be a stable here from the Viper. Might not be, actually. Could easily see him trying to go skirms if he expects archers, but I think going scouts when you're so far away makes sense, and then he can always adapt into skirms as well. Someone says, dumb question, are they picking civs or is it full random? I'll show you the draft in between games. There's a civ draft, so there's picks. But Viper has basically said, this is the only build that's exposed. I don't know how he got chosen for this. Maybe he's like one of the king's sons who doesn't have any militaristic? You know, he doesn't have any aspirations of being a warrior. So the king is you know, kind of hoping that he gets killed off. Won't admit it, though, of course. That'd be a horrible thing for a king to admit. Stable's up. And Sebastian loses his eagle. And Sebastian is going to make eagle, spear, and at least he saw the stable from Viper, so he knows that maybe mixing in some archers makes sense. Whereas, like, if you saw Viper went for a range, you would probably just go, oh, he's going skirms. Okay. T90 getting political? No, dude. I just watch a lot of TV. Come on, you can't tell me... You can't tell me that didn't ring a few bells for you, okay? Every time there's a king, there's always a son that the king doesn't like. And then at some point, they make you think the guy's a dope and he's not going to go anywhere in life. And then all of a sudden, in season 2 or season 3, he has a come to Jesus, or maybe not Jesus. He turns it around and he becomes amazing. All right. That's always how it goes. All right. Not always, because I haven't watched every show, but just one farm right now for Sebastian. He's got plenty of buffalo, though. And here comes the flood. Look at the army count. Sebastian lost a unit. He has more units because he's able to produce out of the barracks and the range. Viper is only producing out of the stable. Well, it was just the stable, and now, of course, he's going stable and the range as well. But this one villager, I don't know his name, but he, he's going to run home now. No spoilers, guys. I'm seeing you mention shows. You know what I do with my life. I don't watch that much TV these days. I like what Viper's done. You could tell Viper wanted to be aggressive, but he was only being aggressive with scouts, and Sebastian pre-walled everything. The Viper just comes home to deal with this, and will try and use his scouts against the skirms and his skirms against the spears. It is so much easier to micro with Viper's army, but Sebastian can basically make more army. And if the eagle number gets dangerous, if the eagle number is up to like 5 or 6 with armor, that's where it then shifts back into being more difficult for the Viper. Blacksmith for Viper to get fletching, which we have not seen for either player yet. And nice hits there. This is a nice moment for Sebastian. Yeah, this isn't bad. Weakening some of the skirms. Still has more eagles in queue. Yeah, this is where Doubt would probably drop a market soon. And just sell all that stone and buy food and just try and get to Castle Age. Because Castle Age eagles destroy the composition that Viper's making right now. I love this pressure from Sebastian, guys. Again, like, you wouldn't be able to tell that he is down 3-1 right now because of how he's playing. He has not fallen off from his heights. He's just still able to bring the same level. It's so cool to see. Viper with fletching, but Sebastian has it now as well. There's a chance here that maybe Viper felt like, I've just got fletching, let's fight. And thought that maybe his opponent didn't have it. But he certainly took the better fights there. It's almost like Sebastian didn't have it. What's interesting there is Viper didn't actually go for the spears when the spears were being microed. He actually just went for the skirms. It's like, I think you're thinking 3 steps ahead with that. You think, well, if I shoot the spears, he just micros them and kills my skirms. So for now, we'll kill some of his skirms, force him to at least make more of those. Only 4 scouts for Viper, and I'm not sure where the 4th one is. But he's trying now to catch off the reinforcements, and Viper's going to make more scouts. Here's the other one. Viper is on gold. But this army count for Sebastian's getting dangerous. Guys, if your opponent's eagles have upgrades, you basically want to match that with the scouts. That's how you should view it in these scenarios. You do have to be careful about being later to the next stage, of course. That's a whole nother conversation. And Viper actually gets through. Sebastian didn't fully build these walls. There's 2 vills right on top of each other here. One's dead. And the next one... Ooh, next one survives. That's actually not bad there for Sebastian. That was quite a few scouts lost from Viper. And Viper doesn't have many scouts at all at home right now. Remember, Inca units are all discounted when on food cost. And that applies to every unit that Sebastian has made. That applies to the eagles. That applies to the skirms. That also applies to the spears. So basically, Viper completed the forging upgrade just to have no units that benefit from forging. But all the skirms aren't here just yet, and this is still a feudal age eagle, not a castle age eagle. So Viper, they're what, 50 HP, excuse me. So even if Viper's doing 1 damage a hit, still can get a couple volleys off to kill the eagles. And with a couple of scouts in front, things could still end up being fine for him. Ultimately, I would be rather confused on what to go for that played towards my bonuses long-term here if I'm Viper. Because like, I'm in love with Vietnamese cav archers, but with so many skirms, you definitely don't want to make that. I'm not necessarily in love with Vietnamese knights. So the eagles and the skirms make it really tricky for Viper to know what to do, I would say. And Viper's going to mark it. Sebastian has already marketed, and Sebastian about to click up. And that's that window he's looking for. Early Castle Age. Now, Eagles start to produce a lot faster starting Castle. They're actually quite a slow producing unit here in Feudal. And that is good news for the Viper, because Viper has some time here to maybe start to kill some of these Eagles. Meaning Sebastian makes it to Castle and doesn't really have the critical mass. Longswords could be good if your opponent wasn't Incas. Incas having Slinger means that your own infantry is probably not the play. Viper sells some of his stone, just trying to get the resources to click up. And must know now that his opponent's up. The score dipped for Sebastian. Sebastian has fallen back. It's very natural time for Sebastian to have clicked up, I'd say. Viper's archers are at home right now. Didn't move forward with them at all. Would be interesting if he'd maybe try and sneak those archers somewhere. Feels like he maybe wants to keep making them and keep them alive. But Viper's not really able to force many engagements. These skirms, they'll most likely just get killed off here. No more archers in production for the Viper. Viper's scouts need to loop around to see what damage can be found here. If Viper would have sent those archers, he could maybe be on the gold. But in 20 seconds, the Inca villagers also benefit from the infantry armor upgrades. So the villagers are actually pretty strong. Weak villager from before gets picked off, and now that another villager gets picked off. So Viper kills the third villager of the game. And it's like moments like that Sebastian's going to need to avoid. Viper still somehow finding damage. But I don't know, like this, losing all this army is just going to be so rough for Viper. Sebastian might have lost 3 vills, but he can catch up in that regard with the second TC. Viper keeping Sebastian away from his base for a little bit longer. Good work from him. These archers feel very unhelpful in defense. I think if anything, Viper needs a town center. Sick job from Viper to still keep the skirms alive. Sebastian basically doesn't want to deal with this now because he wants to hit Viper while he can. And Viper is definitely going to drop a TC as quickly as possible here. Quick walls. TC. Viper gets crossbow. He goes for Bodkin. His skirms still play a role here. The scouts are helping out a little. The eagles will chase down these skirms. Viper waiting for a knight there. Waiting for 2 knights, actually. And quick walling. And protecting his gold. Still hasn't lost a villager, Viper. Won't lose the villager as the TC goes up. And then here he's losing his skirms, so that's still really good for Sebastian. Viper brought the knights over here. Resources collected is ahead for the Viper. He's got better eco upgrades. And there's just been so many times in this series and over the years, even on just enclosed, even on just this map, where it's like small incremental advantages in feudal, booming to take it to the late game, and Viper tends to be a happy camper. I would love to see more archers from Viper, but crossbow's kind of surprising. Like, cav archers are mobile, and you still get extra HP on them. I would prefer the cav archer choice. But maybe he will do that later. At the end of the day, a couple knights with the crossbow mix should be enough for Viper to defend from the eagles. All right, so Sebastian, well, killing a couple of the weak knights because he's distracting Viper here. Sebastian finds 2 vill picks. Same thing for Viper. I think what this is, like, both players lost villagers on berries. So if you've learned anything this game, just never take berries. All right, guys? Glad to have helped. Crazy eco for Sebastian. His upgrades are fine. Probably needs horse collar soon, but that's fine. Could easily drop TC number 3 on maybe another gold. A gold here would be amazing to lock down for him. And both players getting monks right now to try and snag as many relics as possible, because they know this is going to go late. The last time Sebastian was down 3-1, he came back and he beat Yo 4-3. Can he do it again here? I think he's honestly in a pretty good spot to win this one. Eagles, man. Like, Viper's army comp's just going to be so awkward against eagles. He can't move out with his army. Even the knights that he has, you just can't move out. Viper's going to hope that he can kill vills with these crossbows. Where is he going to range? He doesn't know about the TC. He might try and head to the gold and see that TC. And then Sebastian is trying to steal the relic. And he is actually going to get away with that for now. And he sees Viper's monks, and both those monks are dead. That's huge for Sebastian. Also, Sebastian does lose this eagle, and he loses that eagle, but he was pulling back over here. So Viper reacted here. There was like 3 or 4 things happening at once. But now the eagles are underneath the TC. Some vills could go down for Viper. He loses all of his crossbows. Man, crossbows is such a weird choice, but maybe he doesn't know what to do. Cav Archer, you need more for them to have an effect? I don't know. I think I'm being overly critical about the crossbow thing. He's controlled them well. You still have extra HP with the Vietnamese. He's still got the knights. Knight crossbow combination against straight eagle can be good. And has shown to be good at times. Still, this hasn't been killed off yet. Oh my god, what the? Guys, where are you going? They can't go home. What in the world? What in the world? These 3 monks, they cannot take the relics home. And they don't know where to go right now. This is hilarious. Sebastian's like, will Viper see this? Viper's coming in from both sides. Okay, they dropped the relics, so now Viper will see that. That's hilarious, man. And Viper's Knights here taking really good fights. Man, Viper's taking some good engagements here. Oh, no! No, 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 no! There's 4 relics here. Sebastian couldn't go home because he didn't clear up the crossbows. Oh, man. Viper's going to be licking his lips. We don't have his face cam up, but it's good because it'd be so awkward. There'd be a lot of tongue, dude. He's going to be like, my relics. Yes. He wants those relics so badly. I think Sebastian is still favored to get the relics. Which is good. So they're still closer to him. But I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen 3 monks just chilling out there holding relics like that before. Viper's going to have to make more knights. Now, here's where it gets weird, right? It's like if you lose your crossbow mass, knights alone won't work against monks and pikes. Ethiopians always have an answer. That monk gets killed. Sebastian will be fine with that as long as he gets these. Okay, hear me out. Let's say Sebastian is worried about losing this position. Would it not make sense to just drop a tower here? Or like, I guess try and wall it in? This is crazy. Apparently I said Ethiopians. I don't know what I said. People are just saying Ethiopians in my chat. It's clearly Vietnamese versus Incas. I'm focused on the relics, guys. I'm focused on the relics. This is now it's not a capture the relic scenario. It is a capture the 4 relic scenario. And Viper's got crossbows with ballistics. He's got knights with more upgrades than he had before. Sebastian's still raiding the other side. Oh, I think Viper's army might actually be superior here. The eco's even. The population's 100 for both right now. I think crossbow knight makes it difficult for Sebastian to engage with these numbers. Now, he did get +2 armor. You got to take the fights, dude. You just got to take the fights, Sebastian. You can't let Viper snag these relics. Have faith in your eagles here and hope your monk converts a knight. That's the logic. Ooh, can you just... Oh, convert this knight? Okay, Viper's going to give him that one. That's a weak knight. Sebastian actually converts a full HP knight. That's really good for Sebastian. Well played there. He was going to lose the monk regardless, and he's killing most of the crossbows. And with Sebastian's economy, he can always spam more eagles. And he should be able to snag these relics now. Beautiful fight from him. Viper sending more knights back over this way. Viper always needs a healthy archer count, because if he doesn't, then straight pikeman is what Sebastian can go for. And Viper has to fall back. And slowly, Sebastian will bring in these relics. Look at this economy, guys. Boom. TCs. 3 TCs. Viper. Boom. 3 TCs. I'd like to see a 4th, honestly, in this type of game. There's a lot of army right now. I don't think they're going to be able to rush Imp when they're both producing so many units that cost food. A 4th town center would make a lot of sense. 9 more eagles in queue for Sebastian. Every time Viper gets here, there's just a bigger eagle swarm. And here Viper still trying to harass and distract Sebastian. But Sebastian has that monk. Viper runs away, and here Viper falls back. But Viper's micro has been consistent here, guys. You'll notice a consistent volley of crossbows. Or volley of arrows from the crossbows as he hits and runs. And the knights in front really holding their own here. And Viper's not too far off from the +2 attack or +2 armor upgrade. He could do that. And there's still 3 relics here. There it is. Oh, man. Viper's army is so much more difficult to control and move around. They move at different speeds. It's different unit types. But if you can master that meat shield in the front with the crossbows... Oh, you could do this. How is Viper doing this? Like, it is just so difficult as he now gets Thumbring as well to manage this army with this type of economy. And he's bringing villagers, guys. Is he going to castle those relics? No, he's going to gold. Viper will be happy to control this. People want the middle. Okay, there's a tower there with 4 vills standing around it, and nothing happened. There you go. I did completely miss that. I could see why that is a pretty big deal if someone chops through later on. Both players noticed it. Imp is on the way for Sebastian. Oh, boy. Okay, guys. This is going to be a full Castle Age play from Viper. Or he might be dead. If these Eagles get upgraded to Elite and he's got 50 of them, I don't think Castle Age Knights are going to be enough. Viper's getting the relics back home. He's maybe thinking about Imp. But Elite Eagle would not only kill his army, but Elite Eagle would also raid his economy to death. Viper will want any engagement he can find against these Eagles for the next minute and a half. And honestly, I love the play from Sebastian to just stop taking the fights, give up the relics, and then try and go for Elite Eagle. He's just got so many of them. You could do this, too. You could try and snipe the... One guy was moonwalking in there. You could try and snipe the monks. Viper, though, is destroying the production from Sebastian. And that's going to slow Sebastian down a little bit. And he's creeping into Sebastian's base as he's got time to think about things. Time to breathe. He will probably recognize Sebastian is up. If he recognizes Sebastian is up, stone is the key. And Sebastian looking for a monk is going to kill a monk. Viper needs well-placed castles. And maybe you give up on this group of archers and knights now. Oof, it's so tough. Yeah, he's like, give me any fight I can get before you get upgrades. Let's go. He's done a great job with that army, honestly. Viper should also recognize that this is probably where Sebastian is taking gold. Those 2 knights might be clicked in there at some point. Elite Eagle is about to be in. Viper's falling back. He's dropping a castle here. You can't full wall, but I think a wall to funnel things in towards your castle could be really good. Yeah, and Viper just runs away with the knights. And yeah, these crossbows are completely dead. It's going to be 50 Elite Eagles. Key for Sebastian to keep this semifinal alive is to spread the Eagles out. You have this whole group going this way. You need to go the other way as well right now and get other areas of map control. It is Viper that actually has some movement over there. And like I said, Viper's 2 knights are going to be looking around for damage. Viper's expecting pressure on this side. He's brought army here, and he's also built a castle, but there has been no pressure yet, and now he sees the big ball of Eagles here. Castle's making rats and archers. That could maybe be okay. I mean, elite Ratans do a lot of damage. And at least Viper Civilization does get Cavalier as well. So maybe he could opt for that. But Viper needs a castle somewhere. Where is he going to build it? That is so many Eagles. Viper's on the gold, though, guys. It'll take a long time because these are Inca villagers. But Viper is on the gold with those 2 knights. Viper has Ratans. He quick walls here. He still has 20 knights. There's 57 Eagles on the map, but they're not all here at the moment. This castle is weakening some of the Eagles as they go through. Viper is a 20 villager lead. If he can maintain this, castle over here also defending from Eagles. Maybe Viper could be okay, but these Eagles are killing vills. Those knights have killed so many villagers, man. Those knights killed 16 villagers there. And Viper... I don't know if he's holding yet. His idle time's insane. And there's still Eagles everywhere, but I think it's close to it. Again, like I said, I think if Viper actually made a couple house walls here or anything to funnel the Eagles directly in towards the castle would be really strong. Let's see. His 2 castles have 21 kills. It's 140 pop for both. The relics are still here. Well, one of them, the relics are still there. And this game is going to continue on, guys. God, Viper's always got a group of Cavalier just waiting to swoop in. I don't know how he's able to get away with that. He's going to be happy he finds that stone. All right, so let's talk about it, right? Eagles are an anti-archer unit. Why is Viper making archers? Well, for the same reasons he did it in Castle Age. He could still do archers with Cav. Crazy quick gates there from Viper. And now that Eagles are going through, the Eagles are getting in. And Viper, more gates. 4 gates to keep the Eagles out there from the Viper. But Rats and Archers do 11 attack once they're elite. And the Eagles will have 8 pierce armor. At least for now. There is a unique tech for the Incas. Guys, remind me. Inca unique tech. It adds armor. But what armor is it adding? Oh my god, it's a trap! Vipers trapped him! These Eagles and Halbs trying to raid are just going to be killed off by the Rats and Archers now. And Viper's eco is kind of untouched at the moment. Sebastian's raid is not doing anything. And Sebastian needs Trebs, man. He needs to take out these castles or else. Beautiful play there from Viper. I mean, this is like... This is another day in the life of Viper right here. This one, I thought Viper was genuinely going to delete one of these gates and build a gate behind because he's that confident with these. Still no elite Rats and Archer. I think Viper actually forgot about these Cavalier. Or maybe he, like, did intentionally just leave them on the stone there. But he's certainly aware now that the Cavalier are there. I think Viper should be researching the, well, after he gets Rats and Archer, maybe. He really needs to consider researching the unique tech for Vietnamese, where he can trickle in some gold income. Guys, Viper simply has no clue what Sebastian is building up over here, and this is crazy. Sebastian, you go, militia. You go. Yeah. All the Eagles made fun of you. They called you a misclick. Your parents didn't plan you, but guess what? You can still do something in this life. Let's go. Militia kills the monk, and Viper's going to be like, wait a second. Siege workshops with flags? That's not good. And he's also not seeing an army over here. So as Viper raids the right side, and Sebastian's going to get completely obliterated. Sebastian is going to push with Siege Ram and Eagles on the left side. And we have murder holes for Viper. And a second castle. An all-new army for Viper will come here. Oh my god. I mean, maybe the gates give him an extra second. He's dropping as much as he can here. Viper knows this is bad. Sebastian knows this is bad, though. Like, Sebastian... It's worse for him right now. I think the Ratsons beat these Eagles, considering the upgrades, and especially with Cavalier. So, Sebastian has to win this fight. And it's double Castle Fire, which will help against the military. And then Viper has more Cav coming in to maybe take out the Rams. Siege Ram is insane, though. Poor Sebastian's probably looking at this like, how in the world have I not won this fight? This is an Archer. Well, it's because it's Elite Ratsons. Elite Ratsons are no joke. Viper's micro has been no joke. The mobility of the Ratsons is perfect for him. And here, Viper's still going to lose a castle. But there's a whole lot less army here from Sebastian. And Viper could bring more army over. He does just need to be careful with these Eagles. Now that they have 10 pierce armor now. Okay, so 10 pierce armor changes things. It's 1 damage from Viper now. And that is a significant change. So, Viper was doing 3 damage before. Probably feeling great about this unit. Now, I'm not feeling so good about this unit. These Siege Rams still haven't been dealt with. There's another misclick. Oh, it's the same guy. Oh my god, he's a G. And Viper... I mean, he needs his castles, guys. Viper needs his castles. Viper has exposed villagers. Sebastian's going to win this game. Sebastian's going to take the castle out. The Eagles are too strong. Viper, what's he going to make? Light Cav? Light Cav aren't good enough. Viper doesn't have the gold for Cavalier. Sebastian still has control of some gold here. And Viper is going to have to fall back on, like, the original idea of just holding underneath castles. But this could get really tough for him, considering he lost his 2 castles on the left. Sebastian getting kills here. Viper will lose villagers, and the Light Cav will not do much to Sebastian. Viper has lost more villagers than Sebastian this game, but I'm going to say this right now for you, Sebastian. You will run out of gold if you don't win this fast. You have to plan towards trash. You have Halbs. You need to maybe think about Skirm as well. Make sure those techs are in. If you run out of gold, you are unable to make Eagles anymore. And Eagles are really costly on gold, guys. There is 6,000 gold left on the map. And Sebastian can reclaim those relics. But relic income is not enough for consistent Eagle production. Viper is essentially hoping that he could slowly kill these Eagles and outlast his opponent here. But I think Viper's eco is just too weak now. I think he's He's hemorrhaging on both sides. It's not just the gold eco, too. He's got farming eco that's getting hit. He's got his wood and farming eco that's getting disrupted. And while Sebastian hasn't killed his Rattans, still, I'm not sure if Rattan Archers are the unit here to win this game here for the Viper. It felt good until the unique tech came in and added the extra armor. And of course, Sebastian with this time is going to be spamming eco nonstop behind this. Like, any issues Sebastian has at home, he's fixing now. Beautiful play from Sebastian. Viper down to 94 villagers. And Sebastian is at 130, guys. And like we said, getting the relics. Still has access to stone around. Still taking the gold over here. Can come over here to steal this gold from Viper. Basically, all the remaining gold will be Sebastian's at the moment. The only... The thing that makes me think Viper has a chance here is the fact that this Rattan Archer count is getting up close to, like, 2-shot territory. Right? Because even if you're doing 1 damage a hit against a 60 HP unit, if you get enough of them in one solid group, you're 2-shotting them, maybe then you have, you know, more hope again. But, I mean, he had like 30 before. It didn't work. He doesn't really have the best of economies right now to make more. And Sebastian's on every single gold pile. Every single gold pile with 3 relics. I wonder if it makes sense for Sebastian to treb this tower down and build a lumber camp here. Because, like, from my perspective, if Viper's getting raided in that area, Viper will completely die. Viper's going to use the chokes. He's trying to back up here. Oh, God, his units are getting surrounded, and he's stuck. And this might be the GG moment. 200 pop for Sebastian. Viper's whole Rattan army is just getting obliterated. And in a crazy back-and-forth game, Sebastian just stuck with the Eagles and said, why will I make anything else? Why make... He made 28 spears, 16 skirms, but 329 eagles. And Sebastian is still alive. And remember, when he played against Mr. Yo, he was down 3-1. He had a win on Enclosed, which went late. And he came back to win 4-3. Sebastian's story is not finished yet. Viper really struggled to find an answer, a long-term answer to those Eagles. And guys, like, Sebastian also has cheaper Eagles with this civilization. So, cheaper skirms, cheaper spears, cheaper Eagles. Houses give you extra pop space. Incas are really strong here. But, I mean, we've seen Viper win so many of those games, despite how strong Eagles are, against players, especially when he's looking as good as he has looked in this series and tournament. So props to Sebastian for fighting back there. The Siege Ram play was so good. I swear we so rarely see Siege Ram. I actually think it's underrated even at the highest level, certainly at the mid to the low ranks. If he went for Trebs with the Eagles on the left-hand side here, the Trebs get sniped, Viper holds on, and Viper might stabilize. The Siege Ram play was perfect. 2 freaking castles went down because of what? Like 6 Siege Rams and that group of Eagles. Here we are, folks. Welcome to game number 6 in this semifinal. It's been incredible. The map is Grapple. And it is a nomad start or a transport start. This tends to be a boom map. And we have the Byzantines against the Romans. Which, at least as far as Age of Empires is concerned, I think the Byzantines are way stronger. Now, I'm not sure about the Centurion versus the Cataphract. The Centurion, at least when the Romans were introduced to the game, were seen as too expensive to really be able to justify. But, bit of a civil war here, where I think at least with Age of Empires techs, I like the Byzantines' chances long-term. Now, both players have opened up with the dock here, and both players are now going to play the fun little game of trying to find the sheep on the shoreline with the transport ship. That sounds stupid for a competitive game, but no, that's actually what they will do. It's part of the map, and if you have the transport ship and you're not doing anything else, you should do it. So it is a sheep race for the time being. And both players will add fish, but Beyond that, you're going to see mills on the shorefish for food income. And there's lots of food. There's lots of gold on this map. Has anyone here ever seen both unique units against each other? Centurion against Cataphract? Sebastian's doing a good job, but he needs to put the sheep inside the transport, in my opinion. Maybe you want the sheep to scout, though. Should Centurions do well against Cataphracts? And people are saying Centurions win. Really? Okay. So if you can make Centurions, though, Cataphracts and hand cannons could be a real problem, and bomber cannons could be a real problem for the Romans. Because Romans usually go infantry and scorpion. Beyond that, they could go for their own cav. I think very hard to justify your own stable units here when playing up against the Byzantines, though. They have the cheap pointy boys, and they've got the cheap camels, so... Can someone remind me of how much a Cataphract costs and then how much a Centurion costs? You might be like, T90, why are we talking about late game? It's just because the last time I saw this map, it did go very late and became quite a boom game. And I would expect, with how far away they are from each other here, that they will probably consider similar things here. Cataphracts are 70 food, 75 gold. Okay. And then... I don't know. Margugu in chat says too much. Margugu, look at the amount of gold on this map, bro. You have to think about it differently. You can't think about conserving resources. I think you just go crazy here in post-imp. We saw Doubt go for like 50... 9 range hand cannons with Hindustanis and Imp Camel and still have 5,000 resources left in the bank on this map. Centurion is a bit more food and a bit more gold. So, yeah. But I think Centurion is the unit you need to go for then. In the late game, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. So, you have kind of an option here. What you could do is you could, not be a nerd. And you could just focus on your economy. Or, to get a lead, you can micro your transport ship to block fishing ships. Is Viper doing it too? Is Viper going to micro? Nope, he's busy. Sebastian's busy as well. They are trying to do anything they can do to get a lead. Viper bringing in boars. Sebastian probably doing the same. And then also mills on the shorefish to be expected here. Guys, what a great series this has been. Already, if Sebastian loses this series, already just another sign of how good he is, I think. Considering no one else was able to get wins off Viper yet this tourney. I'm pumped to see the Centurion in competitive play, but this does feel like there's always potential for some Castle Age shenanigans too. This is definitely a fast castle from both, and there's just not a lot of deep fish out here. So I don't know if we're going to see large investment into the water. I think making a fire galley with the Byzantines seems logical because you're Byzantines, but I could see Viper just saying, whatever. I'll let him waste resources on trying to kill these fish, and I will just go to Castle Age faster. The thing that Romans have is that the Romans have the 5% more efficient eco. And so if this is just a chill and boom game, that's one big thing we're overlooking is that's kind of good in some ways for Sebastian. If they have the same amount of villagers, he's just simply going to bring in more resources. And that 5% might actually lead into him being able to afford what might be a more expensive composition. But with the Byzantines, you're not just thinking about the Cataphracts. You're thinking about the hand cannons and the bomber cannons. So Scorpions are probably not a big option here. I mean, do you remember when Sebastian played Yo, guys? He lost how many Scorpions to bomber cannons? Yo did also make like 30 bomber cannons somehow. T90, is it feasible to take down the Roman dock at the start with 4 villagers you make with your own dock? Yes, but 4 villager idle time to take down a dock isn't worth it. It would your eco would be, especially at the start, it'd be really bad, right? That's like half your economy. It'd be half your economy to disrupt the potential of a couple fishing ships, which aren't fishing efficiently, so. But here's the deal. If you're like you're playing in a community tournament, by the way, you can type !TCC in my chat. We are running a community tournament in a week. Elos, anyone from any Elo can sign up. Check it out. But anyways, people don't necessarily know that it's inefficient for you, so they might be a little, like, taken back by it, you know? They might be freaked out. This community tournament is only for Patreon supporters. Frowny face. Yes, it is. $1. We have admins. We'll work on maps. It'll be part of some of my content. I think $1 is pretty reasonable. $1 minimum. So we expected booming. We expected fast castle. We thought maybe Viper would make a fire, which he has done. And we are going to see more walls from the Viper. And he's probably trying to figure out which TC spots are best here. Sebastian is adding a barracks. And he's actually adding a barracks in a position where Viper is scouting thoroughly. Viper will see that barracks. And Viper sees the freaking barracks. So here's the problem, guys. Viper now is aware that Sebastian could be coming with some type of scouting. Right? So maybe a scout to contest for the relics. Or for some type of push. I think if you have the scouts out there, it's very likely maybe you end up... Sebastian, settle down, bro. Settle down. Sebastian, settle down, dude. Basically, if you surprise the Viper, it could be very good. If Viper knows you invested into that, he's just going to be like, all right. Well, I have to be careful. And maybe Viper won't add the monastery as early or something. Sebastian, though, will know that he's been spotted. Viper's letting him know. This is definitely Viper saying, hey, I see you. And Sebastian says, well, let's not add a second building. He goes for second TC and third TC. I like the decision from Sebastian to do that instead of just continuing forward with the next unit. Sebastian still has his fishing ships. How much fish is actually available in the middle? 200. 200 deep fish. So, yeah. I think the fire ship's probably worth it because you could take out the dock and whatnot later on, but long term, I don't think it's a big deal. And Sebastian has microed well with his transport and with his fishing ships. Not normally something I'd compliment, but Sebastian microing what he can on pretty much a boom map, and this is what Viper chose for his home map for a reason, guys. Byzantines really don't have any bad matchups in the very late game. I would say I can maybe think of one. This is if all techs come in. I actually think that the Mongols are superior. Maybe the Hindustanis. Again, unlimited gold, whatever. Maybe any civ, like maybe like Celts, Halb Siege Onager. I don't know. Just really good civilization that really doesn't have many weaknesses. So, yeah, guys. Eco and more eco for these two. Viper also mixing in a barracks. He wants those relics. He does see this relic. Might be tempted to move out there to try and snag that one. And the TCs are just now coming up for him. You're not going to see much farming right now. But Viper is actually going for heavy plow. So he's trying to get heavy plow before he adds any farms. It's just there's still a lot of shorefish, so players will use that and then switch into the farms as well. Now we actually have TC number 4 for Sebastian. Sebastian has to go Centurions. He has to. I don't think you have any other option. If you go Legionaries, you die to Cataphracts. Or hand cannons. You can't go Skirms because your Skirms are... If you go Scorpions, Bombard Cannons are probably going to be out from Viper and he can deal with that. You could maybe try like a big Halb Siege Ram play mixed with Scorpions. Maybe like Siege Rams I think are valuable here, but you almost need the surprise factor. Halb Centurion against Halb Cataphract? Maybe? We'll see. Normally, though, for civs that don't have Bombard Cannons, they struggle against players of Viper's caliber. Bombard Cannon is one of the biggest things that players these days are using that maybe they didn't use as much, back in 2016, 2017. Granted, we have a lot more civs and a lot more Bombard Cannon civs, but yeah. the point remains true. Sebastian's trying to get this relic. Viper's added some scouts now. And Sebastian's going to lose this monk. But it is very close to his base. Unfortunately for him, though, the Viper is going to get this. I'd like to see Viper use his transport, actually. Does he still have it? How did Viper lose his transport? Did he delete it? I'm guessing Viper got housed and deleted his transport ship. He's going to get this relic and this relic and this relic. I thought maybe transporting the monks home would make sense. 57 villagers for the Viper. 27 seconds of TC idle time. And it's going to be... it's the same vill count right now, but Sebastian just doesn't have the fish, right? Justin says, Biz doesn't sound good on this map, considering it's all about double gold comps and pop efficiency. Well, I will say that if there was less golds, if it was a normal amount of gold, Byzantines wreck this matchup every single time. I've seen this matchup on Arabia at least a bunch. I've seen it on Arena a couple times. It's not even close in my opinion. But with this much gold, like there is still 62,000 gold. Maybe Centurions are realistic for the Romans. And you could mix it in with other gold units. Like you said, like maybe Scorps or maybe the Legionaries. Also, Viper having 4 relics is never a bad thing. But having 4 relics on a map where there's so much gold, it's not as big of a deal breaker as, oh my god, Sebastian was blocking there with the Spearman. That's so well played, but Viper now bringing his monk over. And if I'm Viper, I'm thinking about late game. I'm thinking, okay, I don't know how Centurions do against me. Maybe Centurions could actually be good. But let's force some type of reactions from my opponent before then, ideally. And then you see this, and you're like, ooh. Feels like a good castle spot. Feels like a good time for a mini siege push. You know, Sebastian, he doesn't have anything over here. And Viper just building outposts all along the map to be informed on where the opponent can go and what's going on here. Sick boom from Sebastian, though. I mean, he hasn't killed a unit, which doesn't make him feel great, I'm sure. But the fact that he's on the way to imp right now is wild. But if Viper could get outposts up and see what military he's going to go for, that could be pretty brutal. He's going to go man-at-arms. He's going man-at-arms. He's also adding fires. I'm very surprised that Viper never took this dock down. He's had the fire galley here. That's a bit sloppy from him. Because he also won't know that his opponent's sneaking some water control out. Sebastian losing some vills, though. Viper getting value from what feels like nothing. But Romans can make dromons. And Sebastian's feeling like, I can actually win water here. To start, like maybe go Drummond opening, and then Viper's going to have to cut back on water and deal with that. I really like the idea of opening Drommonds. Maybe a couple fires in front. And here he's going to add the barracks as well. God, Viper's being so annoying here. He's even annoying me. This monk has continued to just heal and convert and harass, and finally... I think Viper's going to try and kill another Vill. Viper's villager kill will happen, and then the scouts die. Viper will drop a castle here, and he's dropping more docks. Okay, so Viper's also thinking Drommonds. But he doesn't know that his opponent has added another dock. He does see the longswords, which would make him think there won't be water play from Sebastian. And he drops a very defensive castle, and is prepping archer ranges, and this is all for hand cannons, guys. Like, the vision from Viper to give him this information, to know what his opponent's going for, is pretty epic here. And Sebastian now clicks Legionary. Legionary's unique to the Romans. What I like the most about the Legionary tech is the fact, and Viper sees the water now, but it's the fact you basically go from, like, longsword up to Legionary, whereas with Champion, of course, you have to go longsword to two-handed sword to the Champion. You can hit with faster timings. Guys. Sebastian's going to have some map control to work with here. He has Navy coming out. Viper just didn't expect Sebastian to think about the water. Sebastian's got fires. He's got dromons coming. Dromons could push the castles. They could push the docks. Viper is going to be reeling here. This is coming in hot and heavy. Sure, the longswords, the legionaries might not do much right away. But the water is putting Viper under so much pressure right now. And Viper has the superior naval civilization. It's just, he didn't expect Sebastian to show up with this. Viper's going to get fast fire now, so he can fight this back with his own fires. But nice job from Sebastian. And Sebastian's still making more fires. He's still sending more dromons to take out the docks. I like Sebastian's position more and more. But you've got to try Centurions, I think. I would bet that Sebastian has never made more than 10 of them in his entire career. That feels crazy, right? But I, myself, have only made more than 10 of them one single time. It's so expensive. And it's just so uncommon in a normal game with Romans. People don't pick Romans for their Centurions. Viper has fast fires. Viper coming back on water. He did lose the docks, but he's got the superior fires and all that pressure from Sebastian that is a little concerned about. It's going to flip around here. And Viper will snipe some of the dromons. This is not the type of game that Sebastian is used to playing. Stone walls, big boom. Romans in late game. Viper's fires will continue. He could always mix in his own dromons. He's killed the dromons from the Romans. And Sebastian is now up against hand cannon as well. Guys, I just don't think he knows what to do here. And truthfully, I do think the Byzantines are just so much easier to play. But I think you just look at him playing right now. He's like, what do I even make? It's got to be Centurions, man. I think Viper, he knew that it was Legionary for so long. He was never going to be harassed by that, especially because Legionaries are so slow. And now he could just protect the sides with these hand cannons, and he could build up towards cannon, or I guess dromons, towards the middle if he feels like that's the way to play it. How good are Centurions compared to normal infantry units? They're really good when fully upgraded. They get a charge attack, and they're mounted, right? So they're not... Centurions are a mounted unique unit. And Sebastian just calls the GG. Sebastian just didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do in this matchup. Probably one of the worst matchups in the game, in my opinion. And simply didn't feel like he'd have any chances here. Viper will go to Warlords 3 finals. But the story of Sebastian should not be forgotten, guys. This run from Sebastian to make it to the semis, to be the only one so far to take games off the Viper, deserves a ton of respect. This one, obviously, not the best ending to a series, but some really competitive games. As Sebastian, I think, will look back to game number 1 and game number 2 and feel like he needed to snag one of those. This game would be completely fine to lose. And then maybe he'd be in a better position if we got to a game 7. But an excellent series, an excellent showing from Sebastian. Viper is looking amazing. And he showed it all today. He showed the water dominance. He showed the land dominance. And he also showed the mixed map, nomad start, boom dominance here. Viper will be looking amazing in those finals tomorrow, I'm sure, as well. 31,000 resources collected there from Viper. Again, he was tested by Sebastian today. But Viper has just looked amazing in Warlords, man. And he'll face the winner of the next semi, which will be coming up. That semi will be between Tato and Hera. But well played to the Viper.